It's another beautiful day to be a Raider, draped in the silver and black. I represent the shield. I represent the swords. It's that time of night again, Raider Nation. And you come back. Why? Because it's time. It's time to bring the...
What's up, Raider Nation? Happy Black Friday! I am the Commish, coming to you live from Hardcore Challenge Live Studios. Deep behind the enemy line, this is Raider Reaction. Black Friday, Silver and Black Theater, where every Friday we dust off another classic from the Raider archives. And tonight, we're going to jump in our Silver and Black time machine, and we're not going to go quite so far back in time, but we are going to go a little bit back to when we were just starting to tap in
hard to believe Mosley
to the greatness
with the 2 sacks in the loss last week. Today's game being
that is Derek
podcast
Carr.
in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Temperature right around 80 degrees.
2015,
up to about 91
week
today, and it feels
2.
a lot hotter than that.
Ravens
down on the field
at
in the Bay Area, the site of Super Bowl
Ravens.
50. It'll come your way
Happy
in
Black
February,
Friday.
right here on CBS. Ravens electing to kick, and we're underway from O.O. Coliseum. Taiwan Jones watches it go through the back of the end zone off the booming kick from Justin Tucker. So here comes Derek Carr. You see his numbers, Solomon, before he left the game with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter last Sunday against the Bengals.
Yeah, they said last week against Cincinnati when everyone sort of came out so flat, even their head coach Jack Del Rio said that we wanted that game so badly, we just didn't come out and play with great execution. Derek Carr says he has to do a better job of staying calm and keeping the guys around him calm as well.
Losing last Sunday 33-13 to the Bengals. And Baltimore, of course, that 6-point loss in Denver. Play action from Carr on 1st and 10. That pass is complete. That's the backup tight end, Lee Smith, coming over from Buffalo in the offseason. They pick up 6 offensive starters. That front for Oakland, headlined by Rodney Hudson, one of their prized offseason acquisition, coming over from Kansas City in the offseason. And Amari Cooper, the 4th overall pick, 5 catches in his NFL debut last Sunday. Latavius Murray flanking Carr in the backfield on 2nd and 4 from just outside the 25. Drop quick strike is an incomplete pass as Carr trying to find the rookie. Rare drop from the first-year man out of Alabama. Timmy Jernigan making his season debut, did not play last Sunday, was out with a knee injury. They'll need him to provide some push up front. And Elvis Dumerville moving over from his spot on the other side of the line to play more of a 3-down situational defensive football. And Jimmy Smith, one of the few bright spots in that loss in Denver last Sunday, had that 24-yard pick 6, Baltimore's lone touchdown in that loss.
This is not a rerun. We have not done this game before, Colin.
Once again from the
this is the 2015 game, week 2. We have not done this game before.
Very close to that first down marker. Needed to get right to the 30. And the official is signaling first down. Raiders.
What's up, Hot Neil?
And Spiro, you can see they want to get these tight ends involved early in the offense here today. You see Rivera lining up in the backfield. He checks out number 81. And so already Lee Smith with 1 reception, and then Rivera, the 2nd reception of the game from Derek Carr. So they want to get the tight ends going. I expect them to get a lot of action today.
Oakland's offense struggling to say the least. Sunday did not want to play inside Bengals territory until the 4th quarter. Carr just gets it off the play clock line. And his first down pass over the middle is incomplete. Once again, unable to find Cooper. And what a matchup, Solomon, that'll be there between Cooper and Jimmy Smith throughout this game.
Yeah, and Cooper should have made this catch. He's going to come off. And so the rookie He's put another one on the ground. Dropped the first one thrown to him. You can see that one's right in there. Jimmy Smith was able to come over, I think, get a hand in, but a couple of drops here today, and you can see what the Raiders have done. Last season, they put it on the ground almost more than any other team.
Looks like Cooper is bothered by something. Comes off the field here on 2nd and 10. And that play clock already winding down. You see Carr barking to get his teammates at the line of scrimmage. Little trickery here. This is Latavius Murray on his first rush. That Baltimore defensive front unfooled. And it'll be 3rd down coming up. Tackle made by Jimmy Smith.
Well, you know, Latavius Murray, he's got to get it going as well. And both running backs, they're at the top of the league last year in terms of yards per rush. Justin Forsett for the Ravens led the league with a 5.4 yards per carry average, and Murray right behind him. And both got off the slow starts week 1. They expect, I think, the run game to fuel the attack for both offenses today. So both running backs expected to have big games.
3rd and 8. Carr feeling pressure in front of him. Has his man. It's Cooper. Cooper inside the 10. Into the end zone for the Raiders. Touchdown. 68 yards as Oakland strikes first.
How about the rookie Amari Cooper? Dropped his first 2 balls thrown to him today, and then on the 3rd one, gets a jar. It's on a big-time post pattern route, and then watch the throw from Derek Carr. He drops it right over in this area of the field. So the route is well run. He's working man-to-man coverage against Jimmy Smith, and you can see he beat him at the line of scrimmage and then pulled away. Everyone talks about what a polished route runner Amari Cooper is. You saw it right there.
Sebastian Janikowski with the point after. Jimmy Smith, one of the people who talked about the rookie's route running as he gets beat early in this game, something you rarely see against Jimmy Smith. 68-yard catch and run from Cooper. They go 80 yards in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Well, the Raiders have been looking for a franchise wide receiver for the better part of a decade. They think they may have found him in Amari Cooper. Saw him in his first career touchdown catch.
Well, he bought a home near his quarterback, Derek Carr. They're neighbors. We asked him about it. He says, yeah, we want to grow closer. He says, but I also want him to throw the ball to me more. Young kid's pretty smart.
And if you just joined us, Cooper dropping his first 2 targets. And speaking of Derek Carr, take a look at the shot that he took on that touchdown throw from C.J. Mosley.
Well, he's already shown that he's got some toughness. Remember, he's got that injured right hand. When we met with him, we shook that right hand. I said, I don't want to squeeze it too hard. He said, no, it's okay. He says, it's as good as it's going to be. He's got some toughness to him. He showed it there.
So Joe Flacco takes the field for the first time. This Baltimore offense last week held to 173 yards of total offense, 2nd fewest in the John Harbaugh era. Justin Forsett, the lone set back on 1st and 10. Flacco, quick drop, fires far side. It's Kamar Aiken. Football comes loose, and Oakland has it. A nightmare start continues for the Ravens.
And this is the exact opposite of what the Raiders did last week in their season opener against Cincinnati when they got off to a slow start. But today, they're on fire. And there you can see, close it in. This is Carey against Kamar Aiken. The ball pops out. You can see they're able to recover it. Middle linebacker Curtis Lofton, number 50, comes over. There's the tackle on Curry on Aiken. Ball comes out. Lofton scoops it up. So the offense comes out, puts points on the board, and the defense comes out, creates a turnover to put the offense on a short field.
All the talk this week about how vulnerable that Raiders secondary is. Charles Woodson, who is active and will play today with that dislocated shoulder. Of course, Nate Allen lost to that short-term IR, going down with a knee injury last Sunday, but so far so good. 1st and 10, short field for Carr in the Raiders offense. Carr slings it near side end zone. Contact, and there's the penalty marker. Michael Crabtree, the intended receiver. Kendrick Lewis, the man on the coverage.
Yeah, Lewis is matched up against Crabtree. Their feet get tangled up, and so the official's going to talk about it.
Pete Morelli is our referee.
Pass interference. 23 defense. Automatic. First down.
So Kendrick Lewis, one of the Ravens' offseason acquisitions in free agency from Houston, penalized in a big one against the Ravens.
This is more. Look at the left hand of Lewis. See right there? He sort of hooked Crabtree around the waist. That caused him to stumble more than anything else. The officials were aware of it, penalized the defensive back.
22-yard penalty. And this started out as bad as anyone could have anticipated for the Ravens. First and goal, draw play. Murray going right up the gut, inches inside the 5. And his forward progress takes him to the 4. It'll be second and goal.
Remember, Spiro, the Baltimore Ravens are without one of their team leaders in Terrell Suggs. Out with that Achilles tendon injury, had surgery on Friday. He's out supposedly for the remainder of the season. Of course, there's some people saying he could make it back. I find it difficult to believe, but right now the Ravens have to rally themselves. There's been talk about where's the leadership going to come from. I think today we're going to find out a lot more about this Ravens team.
Well, now this defense on its heels. Trips top of your screen on second and goal. Carr thrown in zone too high. Intended for Rivera. As Baltimore trying to get off the field and limiting Oakland to 3.
Down inside the red zone. Carr's going to have to be able to rely on these tight ends. He throws it up high where only his guy could get it, even too high for Rivera. I want you to watch the tight ends down here inside the red zone. Micah Rivera, Clive Wofford, the rookie out of Miami, the 3rd-round pick. He's a big target down here inside the red zone. Look for Carr to get one of those guys the football.
Rivera and Smith, 2 tights on 3rd and goal. You see Carr's numbers so far. Carr pump fakes, throws back to the end zone. It's incomplete. Unable to connect with Crabtree. So give that Baltimore defense credit there after they were forced into a short field situation. Then the long penalty on Kendrick Lewis. They'll hold Baltimore to a field goal attempt.
Oh, here's an offense here in Oakland.
I should say.
Yeah, here's an offense in Oakland. They didn't even see the red zone until the 4th quarter of their Week 1 game against Cincinnati last week. Now already potentially 10 points on the board so quickly in Week 2.
23-yard chip shot attempt from Janikowski is perfect. So the Amari Cooper 68-yard touchdown catch, and Janikowski for 3. It's 10-0 Raiders. Raiders fans having a good old time in the black hole, already up on the Ravens 10-0 as we play with 11:44 in this opening quarter. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, the rest of our CBS crew from O.co Coliseum. Long touchdown throw if you just joined us. Derek Carr to the rookie out of Alabama, Amari Cooper. And then the fumble by Kumar Aiken, recovered by Oakland. And a 23-yard field goal by Janikowski tacks on 3 more. Here's Michael Campanero, crosses the 20, out past the 25, and close to the 30-yard line. Nice return. Salmon, we revisit some of our storylines between Oakland and Baltimore.
These are some of the things we asked ourselves coming into today's game. Can the Ravens rediscover their run game with Justin Forsett? And can Derek Carr and Amari Cooper deliver in today's game on such promise of being first-round picks? And we didn't know they would answer so quickly on that big 68-yard touchdown strike from Derek Carr to Amari Cooper, already paying huge dividends.
Jack Del Rio, the East Bay native, liking what he has seen after they laid a gut here in that 33-13 loss to Cincinnati. So Joe Flacco, the former Super Bowl MVP, last week lowest passer rating since Week 4 of 2011 as he tries to turn the page.
Well, he certainly does need to get it going. Mark Trestman now his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. Not what you typically want for your quarterback to have consistency and continuity. Nonetheless, Joe Flacco is making the adjustment.
2nd and 6. Flacco going play action, throwing across his body, tough pass, and an even better catch by Marlon Brown, the 30-year receiver out of Georgia. Offensive starters for the Ravens. We mentioned Eugene Monroe out today with a concussion that he sustained last Sunday. So James Hurst gets the nod at left tackle. Struggled last week against DeMarcus Ware. Steve Smith Sr. had that drop last Sunday. Under a minute left. Baltimore was down 6. Certainly a difficult catch, but one that Steve Smith has made so many times in his career. 1st and 10, Flacco's going to throw it. High arching pass, far side, it is caught. Steve Smith, and now they say out of bounds. Incomplete. What an effort by Smith, but he just ran out of real estate. That would have been Solomon a 39-yard hookup.
He's working against TJ Carey. And you can see he gets 1 foot in bounds, and I think the second one may have even hit on the other side of the chalk. Now, get his backside hit out of bounds before he get the second foot down. This is going to be very close. This one, I think, deserves to be seen again. There's 1 foot in, but see his backside hit the ground out of bounds before he could get the second foot on the other side of the chalk.
So 2nd and 10, Flacco again going to throw over the middle, caught. That's the tight end, Crockett Gilmore, the second-year man out of Colorado State. They pick up 6 defensive starters for this Oakland defense. C.J. Wilson making the start. Justin Ellis out with that ankle injury sustained last week. Curtis Lofton coming over from New Orleans in the offseason, last 3 years with the Saints. And Taylor Mays making the start. Charles Woodson active and is expected to play, but only in sub packages. And Woodson right now on the field on 3rd and 4. Flacco goes through his progressions, throws near side. It is caught. 1st down, Ravens. It's Aiken. 8 yards, and they move the chains.
This is just an excellent play by the quarterback, Joe Flacco. It's his mobility that really allows him to extend this play, and as the defenders begin to come towards him, then he allows the receivers to come free at the second level of the defense. See right here, see as the linebackers approaching, he's got the arm strength to whip that out over on the sideline to create a 1st down opportunity.
Flacco so far 4 or 5, 27 yards. 1st and 10 for the Ravens. Flacco has time, airs it out over the middle, has Smith inside the 15 to the 10. And finally brought down inside the 10. DJ Hayden getting to him first. 37-yard hookup to Smith. It'll be 1st and goal, Ravens.
This is an incredible throw from Joe Flacco. Watch him get it over the hands of the defender right there, right into the hands of Steve Smith Sr., who was able to snap that ball right out of midair. Look, he just grabbed that one so quickly before the defenders even knew what happened. Great throw, even better catch.
Steve Smith, who has announced this is his final NFL season. Last year, his 8th 1,000-yard season in the NFL. What a career he has had. 1st and goal, they keep it on the ground. On that 1st and goal run, minimal pickup as Forsett is dumped down right over center, and here comes Smith.
Spiro, the Baltimore Ravens, spent the entire week out here on the West Coast in San Jose, California. Many of the players talked about the fact that, they were up early in the morning. They would wake up about 4 a.m. Had to wonder if they slept in here today after getting off to such a slow start. But now in this possession, Joe Flacco appears to be wide awake, and Steve Smith Sr., he appears to be ready to play as well.
So Ken Norton, the Raiders defensive coordinator, 2nd and goal. Little fake pass near side. Flacco trying to find Smith. Excellent coverage by Hayden, the 3rd-year corner. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up.
They're going to challenge these young corners for the Oakland Raiders. TJ Carey in his 2nd year. DJ Hayden in his 3rd year out of Houston, the former 1st-round pick, able to get a hand up on that ball and keep Steve Smith Sr. from coming down with it. Steve Smith Sr. is going to have to come up big working against these young corners today, because the Ravens are very inexperienced at tight end. You can see defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr. is telling those young corners, you're going to have to stay with the veteran receivers to be able to help the defense to hold up.
Lorenzo Taliaferro did not play last week with a knee. 3rd and goal pass incomplete. Aiken screaming for a penalty as TJ Carey Solomon on the tight coverage, and again that Oakland secondary supposedly vulnerable, able to hold.
One play they go after DJ Hayden in one corner of the end zone. They come back here and they go to the other corner against TJ Carey. But this one's just thrown a little high, and you can see Carey's, I think, in good position there against Kamari.
So Justin Tucker, who ranks as the most accurate kicker in NFL history, 99 for 110 Over his 4-year career, that is a 90% conversion
on the
rate.
field defense prior to the snap. After this to the goal, still 4th down.
Jack Del Rio looking on, gets an explanation on the penalty. That's Aldon Smith, who of course signed his contract just 2 days before their game against the Bengals last Sunday. The troubled young man who had such a brilliant start to his career in San Francisco, Pro Bowler in 2012. So he played 29 snaps, a lot more than was expected of him after he had just 2 days with his new team last week. So here is Tucker. It'll be a 22-yard attempt after the penalty. Morgan Cox with a nice snap, and Tucker able to do the rest. So that Ravens drive stalls, but they get on the board, down 7. Tonight, week 2 in the NFL continues with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN, a good one. Jets and the Colts, and then Thursday, right here on CBS and NFL Network, the Redskins and the Giants. Washington looking awfully impressive in their game earlier today. You see the Baltimore scoring drive, 66 yards, 10 plays, and the 22-yard field goal by Justin Tucker. Spero Ditas, Solomon Wilcots, Scott Kaplan, our producer Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director, and the rest of our CBS crew here from Oakland. Amari Cooper, Solomon, you like to see the young guys bounce back. A couple of drops, but boy, did he respond.
Yeah, last week the Bengals tried to intimidate the rookie. The Ravens want to do the same. He dropped his first 2 balls when he was targeted today, but on this third one, 68 yards and wonderful route run against man-to-man coverage against one of the better corners in the NFL with Jimmy Smith. He's able to win. And so when you talk about Amari Cooper, everyone talks about how polished he is in terms of his route running ability, his ability to create yards after the catch. And how about this? He can sight adjust, read coverages, and adjust his routes accordingly. And that's what made him the 4th overall pick in the draft.
And Derek Carr told us that last thing, his ability to adjust has been what has really blown him away.
Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
That's Jamarcus Webb. You know, we asked Carr, what kind of guy Cooper is, and he told us a great story. Towards the end of their preseason game against Arizona, he went up to Cooper and said, hey, I think we need some extra work. And he said from that point on, he kept it in Amari's hands. The next day, got a text. Cooper asked him if he was still interested, and Derek said, yeah, sure, let's go. And Amari said, well, I'm already on my way. And they went up the street, threw some balls. He mentioned that Cooper got a place right next door to Carr. And it just shows you what kind of work ethic this young man has. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Latavius Murray with a pickup of 4. Lawrence Guy on the tackle.
And Amari Cooper is one of those players that came out of Alabama. And day one, we set foot on campus in Tuscaloosa. He was immediately a hit. He immediately produced as a true freshman. And after 3 years, he comes out. He's a 1st-round pick. And we talked to him about the speed and the intensity of the game. He said it spiked tremendously from preseason to regular season last week. And you can tell he's hit the ground running here today.
2nd and 11. Play action from Carr. Strikes over the middle to Crabtree. Breaks the tackle. Crosses the 30. C.J. Mosley on the tackle. 12 yards and a Raiders 1st down. Well, here was Amari Cooper in that game last Sunday. The hit from George Iloka. You see him step over Cooper. It drew an unsportsmanlike penalty, 15 yards. And then Cooper tangled up with Adam Jones. His head slammed against the helmet, and incredibly, Jones not suspended. Solomon fined this week $35,000.
We asked Amari Cooper about it. He says, I got to do a better job to protect myself. This is a real class young man. I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to the Oakland Raiders organization.
Even John Harbaugh took offense with that behavior from Jones last Sunday. 1st down pass from Carr, caught by Crabtree, and one in addition, Crabtree has been and will be Solomon for this Oakland offense to try to give some support to Cooper as the penalty marker is thrown. Again, Pete Morelli is our referee. Long discussion from the officials.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 15, deep offense, 15-yard penalty, and the downtown, second down.
Unacceptable from Crabtree.
Yeah, he has to set a better example. There's no doubt about it. And even Jack Del Rio said, you know, there are players that have come to us, and we've sat down every player. You can see right there, he's putting the ball in the face of one of the defenders, Darryl Smith. But see, he's on the ground, and right there, that little knee from Smith. And the officials didn't see the first part, and they usually only catch, Spiro, the retaliation. And Crabtree's going to be hit for the penalty. It's not that it was unprovoked, but he's just got to be smarter not to retaliate.
Solomon, I take that back. Darryl Smith getting away with it there. Second and 23, quick strike over the middle. It's Andre Holmes. All the way up close to the 40 and very close to the first down. Finally brought down by Will Hill after a pickup of 21 yards.
Well, Bill Musgrave, the offense coordinator for the Oakland Raiders, he really has this offense clicking here today. He's got Derek Carr looking a little bit more downfield. They're running more vertical routes, and they're looking to hit big plays against this Ravens defense. Didn't know if this offensive line could hold up against the blitzers for this Ravens defense.
So Musgrave on the sideline. Marcel Reese flanking Carr in the backfield. 3rd and 2. Carr's pass near side is caught. First down to Cooper.
It's a good throw from Carr to get this ball out. You can see right at the knees of Cooper. He's still able to go down and dig it out because Carr was under pressure. He had pressure coming right in his face in the form of Elvis Dumervil, but still able to get that ball out. I'm surprised whether it's Dumervil or whether it's Upshaw, no one is able to get even close to Derek Carr, and he's beginning to get in rhythm.
Good numbers for Carr. You see what Cooper has done, the 68-yard touchdown catch earlier. 1st and 10, Carr rolling out. Pass is incomplete. Excellent coverage by Lardarius Webb. As Crabtree, the intended target. Only one more day until the biggest premiere in the universe. You won't want to miss the first new episode of the season, The Big Bang Theory, on its new night tomorrow, 7 Central, right here on CBS. Crabtree continues to battle against this Ravens secondary.
Well, these receivers have to make plays, but I expect the tight end. And watch Marcel Reese coming out of the backfield.
Carr has completed passes to 5 different receivers. This is Murray as the Raiders keep it on the ground. Murray, there was a revelation towards the last quarter of last season, earned the starting job for those final 4 games. Ran for more than 400 yards, Solomon, on those final 4, and broke out in that Week 12 game against the Chiefs with a career-high 112 yards.
I remember that game. He's got power in between the tackles. He's got the speed to turn a short run into a home run, get it into the end zone. This is where Derek Carr, I think, has to be able to keep his offense on the field, give his defense some rest. It's a real hot day today down on that football field. If you can keep this defense on the field, maybe you can wear them down.
Roy Helu on the field, the free agent acquisition from the Redskins. Penalty marker thrown. Carr is going to run it well short of the first down. Run out just inside the 48 by Jimmy Smith. Marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Appears to be a hold against Oakland.
Holding. Number 77 offense. The penalty will be declined. 4th down.
It's Austin Howard, the 60-year tackle out of Northern Iowa. Stepping into that spot vacated by the injured Menelik Watson, who went down with the Achilles in the preseason. First punt today for Marquette King, who had a phenomenal season last year. Just 3 touchbacks all of last season. Really added a touch to his game. Lardarius Webb standing back deep at his own 10. Interesting change here to Steve Smith, who was returning punts last Sunday in Denver. This is Webb. He'll watch it take a Ravens bounce into the end zone. 48-yard punt from King. Flacco back onto the field when we come back. Temperatures right around 90 degrees, 81 on the thermometer, but it feels a lot hotter than that. Down on the field, you see the players on that Oakland side trying to stay cool. 1st and 10, Flacco airs it out over the middle. This is Smith. 36 catch on the last drive, and he's taken that defense for a ride. All the way out to the 40, 22 yards. As we go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
Spiro, you mentioned the heat. It is unseasonably hot here in Oakland today. And if you look at the baseball dirt, because remember, this is the last of the multi-use facilities in the NFL, it was watered down before the game, and it is now bone dry.
Scott, thanks. You see some of that infield dirt getting chewed up here. First and 10. This is Forsett, penalty marker thrown right after the ball was snapped. And here's Pete Morelli.
Offside, number 96, defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
It's to Nico Autry, the second-year backup defensive lineman out of Mississippi State. Solomon, you've played in that heat. Feels like they're in about the midway point of the preseason with this temperature.
Yeah, and that's what training camp is for, right? You gotta put yourself through it, through the training camp and preseason process, because you're gonna find yourself at a 1 o'clock kickoff with high heat and humidity, and you have to be able to play.
What's up, Leslie? Happy Black Friday. Thanks for joining me as usual.
Tough throw across his body. This is the rookie tight end Max Williams, who they took 55th overall out of the NFL draft. 8-yard pass play and a Ravens first down. They needed that one badly.
Yeah, last week this Baltimore Ravens offense really struggled to get on track. They didn't score a touchdown last week, and they only had one pass play of 20 yards or more. Today, already in the first quarter, they have a pass play of 37 yards to Steve Smith Sr., and they also have a pass play to Steve Smith of 22 yards. So they continue to rack up yards. They're going to challenge this Raider secondary right now. Joe Flacco is having his way.
7 completions from Flacco to 5 different receivers. First and 10. Flacco takes a shot, has his man wide open, underthrew Aiken, and it's incomplete. Aiken had about 4 steps on his man TJ Carey, and Flacco just missed him.
Joe Flacco's got to be upset with himself on this one, because no one in this league throws a better deep ball than Joe Flacco. Clearly underthrows Kamar Aiken. He can't stop himself to come back to it. And Flacco's just got to throw this one out in front of him. He sort of laid it up because Kamar Aiken was so wide open on that play.
Flacco last season, the best statistical year of his 8-year career. Highest scoring offense in Ravens history, over 25 points. And a record in total offense per game. Second and 10 for Seth. Scooting his way across the 35 down to the 30. And a 16-yard first down run. Charles Woodson playing with that dislocated shoulder on the tackle.
Spiro, they changed offense coordinators, but they kept the same zone running system that allowed Justin Forsett to average 5.4 yards per carry 1 year ago, best in the NFL. And you can see now he's starting to get some rhythm. If he can get to the edge and get to the second level, that's when you see this offense truly come alive.
First and 10. Keep it on the ground to Talia Farrell making his season debut. What a story Forsett was last year. Began the year as their third-string running back, a journeyman before last season. And then, of course, everything changed. Had a year of his life, nearly 1,300 yards rushing.
Now you go back to 2012 when the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Remember, they began the year with their offensive coordinator was Cam Campbell. Then Jim Caldwell became the coordinator, and they got hot offensively for their head coach, John Harbaugh. Then Gary Kubiak, and now Mark Trestman. So they've had some good coordinators. Joe Flacco's had to learn a lot over the years.
Final play of the quarter, quick strike over the middle. It's caught. Gilmore into the end zone for the Ravens touchdown. 26 yards on the catch and run as Baltimore with its first offensive touchdown of the season.
Well, they're in a single high safety. That means there's going to be some opportunities to throw the ball in the seam. There's a single high safety, and that's going to be Charles Woodson. And then you can see the tight end. He's just going to get into the seam. They don't jam him. They don't disrupt his route. Look, he's so wide open. You or I could have made that throw. Well, maybe I could have. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt as well, Spiro. But that was an excellent read by Joe Flacco on the single high look, and then just an easy throw for the touchdown.
Well, you knew the Ravens wanted to incorporate the tight ends a lot more than they did last week. This Oakland defense so vulnerable against the tight ends in their loss against Cincinnati. Tyler Eifert running wild on him. And Gilmore burns him here for the 26-yard touchdown catch. Point after from Tucker is good, and we are tied as we reach the end of the first. 10-10. We'll return to Oakland after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Ravens go quickly, 6 plays, 80 yards. Second career touchdown catch for the tight end, Crockett Gilmore. And again, the first offensive touchdown, Solomon, for the Ravens here in the young season.
Yeah, but you can tell this offense got so much potential. They do have talent. Now, I know they're lacking a little bit at the wide receiver position. They have talent at tight end. Remember, Dennis Pitta, he's still banged up. He's out. And Max Williams was slowed by injuries throughout the preseason. So Gilmore is giving them something at that position.
Also is such a huge target for Flacco. Multiple fractures to his hip. Taiwan Jones watches that through the back of the end zone. All tied at 10 on CBS. Tomorrow on CBS, the geniuses from last season's hit drama are back. Don't miss the season premiere of Scorpion tomorrow at 9/8 Central, only CBS. Ravens with 10 unanswered points. As you see some of the passing leaders around the NFL in Week 2, a huge win for Tom Brady and the Patriots as New England rolls into Buffalo. Beats the Bills handily. 1st and 10, Derek Carr, play action. So effective on play action on the season. Completes over the middle. It's Marcel Reese diving towards the sideline. 16 yards and a first down.
C.J. Mosley is going to be the one in coverage. He's a talented linebacker. I think a future star in the National Football League. But he's got to be able to lock in and keep running. And see, allows Reese to clear just a little bit to make that catch. But, you know, Carr's a tough one. I'll tell you what, he'll stand in there and take a lick from Elvis Dumerville. He knew he had to hang in there. Still made the throw for the completion.
6 different receivers to catch a pass for the Raiders. 1st and 10, they keep it on the ground. This is Latavius Murray. Crosses the 40-yard line, tackled by Darryl Smith. We go downstairs to Scott.
You know, Solomon is talking about Derek Carr being as tough as he is. And, you know, he said last week this team was just emotionally bankrupt. He talked about how he couldn't get anything going. And here he is again.
2nd and 5, Carr is going to roll out on the right. His pass is caught. That is man wide open. It's Crabtree for another Oakland first down. 37 yards up the far side.
Well, watch, he'll get open, and he's wide open on this one. This one's underthrown by Carr. These receivers are getting so wide open that they can't really get the ball to him. Ladarius Webb dropped coverage. The Crabtree was able to come back to it and complete the catch.
And it looks like Webb is hurt. Just kind of came up hobbled. What a tough break for Baltimore in the middle of that play. Leaving them vulnerable in the back end. Crabtree was all alone.
We've seen receivers come wide open today. And how do you drop coverage like that? How do you... You're Ladarius Webb. You're in man-to-man coverage against Michael Crabtree, and you get turned around, and Crabtree came wide open. Carr just didn't push the ball down the field. I think it was the fear of potentially overthrowing Crabtree, and he underthrows him. And then you can see he takes Ladarius Webb for a ride. It looked as if Crabtree landed on top of Ladarius Webb.
And Webb, who was finally healthy this season, labored through last season a painful back injury that involved a hematoma that pressed a nerve, eventually had the leg muscles atrophy. Gritted his way through that, finally started to come on late in the year, but he has to leave the game as it is for the moment. 1st and 10, Carr from the gun, slings it over the middle, and he's caught. Incredible catch by Holmes in traffic. Penalty marker is thrown.
Well, he was in a defenseless position. It was a bang-bang play, but great throw from Carr.
Holding. Number 24 defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Kyle Arrington on the penalty. 21-yard catch. Incredible job by Holmes. Taking a hit. It'll be 1st and goal.
Yeah, it is a great catch. Took a lot of courage from Andre Holmes. He's a big-bodied receiver. He's a talent with excellent speed. But with that framework, they're going to run him right into the teeth of the defense. And there you see Kendrick Lewis comes up with the shoulder. He turned ahead, kept the helmet out of contact.
1st and goal. Murray will
pure power run play from the Oakland Raiders to get Murray in for the score.
And Solomon, what a difference in this Raiders offense last week to this. Again, last Sunday we told you they did not want to play inside Bengals territory until the fourth quarter of that game. Janikowski good on the point after.
I'm also seeing the difference in the Ravens defense without Terrell Sauce.
You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, your weekend starts here with Kirk Cousins and the Redskins in an NFC East bash against Eli Manning and the Giants. It's all here Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. And there's Eli Manning, his career against the Redskins. Giants beaten today at home by Matt Ryan and Atlanta.
Now, these Oakland Raiders, they've come out and really responded. Jack Del Rio said, I love the way that he just didn't overreact to that loss last week. And maybe had every reason to, but he said, you know what, starting with me, starting with the head coach, he said, we were all overly excited. We wanted that win so bad that we just didn't bring our technique, our fundamentals. There were so many things that we did where we were just overly excited for last week's game.
Well, this Baltimore defense that was so good in Denver last Sunday, and a dogfight so far as we see the quarterback comparison, Solomon, so far in the first half.
Well, Joe Flacco is starting to get in rhythm, but so is Derek Carr. Sooner or later, one of these defenses is going to have to rise up and start to make some plays. I think Flacco can continue to make some plays against the inexperienced corners for the Oakland Raiders. And we saw in that last possession by the Ravens, they were running the seams against the single high defense, and that's the vulnerable areas in their coverage.
Can they go to the airways on 1st and 10? All the talk this week, Solomon, about John Harbaugh's decision to keep his team on the West Coast. You'd think it's a wise decision, not wanting to fly across the country twice. Headquartered in San Jose, they walked through yesterday at Stanford. But as you know, football player is such a creature of habit.
Absolutely.
A different deal.
There's no doubt about it. They said that they came together. They had great camaraderie. But many of the players said, hey, just the sheer time difference allowed them to be up way earlier than they even wanted to be.
2nd and 7 for set, getting close to the 30-yard line. Jimmy Smith said he was in bed real early. Up at around 4 o'clock in the morning. His sleeping patterns were a little bit jumbled up. But as you said, a chance for the guys to hang out and almost like a college atmosphere.
I think John Harbaugh put it best. He said the wisdom is in the results. He said we'll know if we did the right thing. The way we come out and play it, if we win, then we know we did the right thing.
The Ravens go 3 tight ends to quarterback sneak to Flacco, 3rd and a short one. He needed to get to the 30, and I don't think he got it. 4th down.
This is where the Ravens really need their run game to show up. They're playing with 2 inexperienced right tackles. They go off the right side behind their guard, Marshall Yanda. He's the best player on that offensive line. It's a quarterback sneak, and you can see Flacco gets knocked backwards. Marshall Yanda is trying to get some push, some movement up front, but very stout Raiders defense. And now on 4th down, looks like the Ravens are going to go for it.
Solomon, you like this decision?
They're running out of time. They better snap the ball very quickly. Okay, they reset the clock.
4th down and inches. Pitch play for set. Can he get to the edge? Beating Lofton. What an effort by Forsett. Getting the 1st down for the Ravens. No signal yet. It certainly appeared as though he had it.
Before they even signal, I want to answer your question. I don't think they should have gone for it. I would have preferred to see them punt, because I think the defense has got to show up and start to make some plays. It looks like they may get it.
And it is a 1st down, so John Harbaugh rolling the dice, trying to give his team a shot in the arm, and Forsett rewards him. Javaris Allen, a rookie running back, and a Southern Cal, their 4th-round pick, on the field for the first time. Flacco play action over the middle. It's caught. 1st down and more. Gilmore, who had the tight end earlier inside the 35, and close to the 30 of Oakland territory. 38-yard catch and run, and what a half so far for Gilmore.
And again, it's single high safety. That's going to be Charles Woodson, and then you see Gilmore come across. Now watch Woodson. You know, he's dealing with a separated shoulder. He doesn't want to make the tackle. And look, right there, he's got to be able to make the tackle. He misses on Gilmore, who was actually lined up at the bottom of the screen. Thought he was coming across the formation, but if you're Woodson, you've got to be able to make that tackle. Don't allow yards after the catch.
Gilmore, who last year as a rookie had just 10 catches all season. Today, 3 catches, 70 yards, including the 26-yard touchdown.
12 there on defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, now Ken Norton Jr. This defense in some disarray as Jack Del Rio looks on.
Yeah, they got 12 men on the field.
Second such penalty against their defense. Norton, last 5 years in Seattle, as Pete Carroll's linebackers coach, trying to revitalize this Raiders defense. 1st and 5 after the penalty. Flacco's got all day. A little sidearm throw to the fullback Kyle Juszczyk. Ducks inside the 20, close to the 16. Another Ravens first down. And suddenly this Baltimore offense, Solomon, has it going. 11 yards to Juszczyk.
But if you notice, Joe Flacco's got all day to stand in the pocket and find time to throw the ball. This offense is really starting to heat up. Joe Flacco's getting warm. He's challenging the Raiders defense. They're not doing any kind of job in terms of generating a pass rush to get pressure and move Joe Flacco out of the pocket.
Allen alone setback. Here's the rookie. Breaking the initial tackle, tripped up by Taylor Mays, who was re-signed by Oakland this week. Released by Jack Del Rio at the end of the preseason. But Nate Allen, as we told you, out on the short-term IR, so Mays gets another shot and comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, and this is a new scheme, remember, brought in by their defensive coordinator, Ken Norton Jr., brought in that 4-3 scheme from Seattle. We see Earl Thomas on the back end of that defense. Charles Woodson's playing that same position, but you can tell they're just not in sync.
8th play of the drive, they started from their own 20. Quick strike over the middle, that's Allen again. And brought down right after the catch. They pick up 2. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
And when we talked to Charles Woodson, he said that the defensive scheme that brought in by Ken Norton Jr. is very basic, but yet and still all 11 guys have to be able to play fast. They've got to be able to really understand the scheme and know where they're supposed to be. So I think they lack just a great understanding in terms of experience within this system, and that's what Ken Norton Jr. is fighting against. Inexperienced players within his system. It's going to take some time for it to gel.
Looks like a timeout was taken by Oakland. Well, they've had some confusion trying to get themselves set. They burn their first timeout. 3rd and 3. Flacco, Solomon starting to carve them up. What do you do here?
Yeah, and you know what? They only have one of their tight ends in the game. I think it's Gilmore. You love to be able to get him matched up on someone.
Lorenzo Taliaferro flanking Flacco on 3rd and 3. Raiders coming. Quick strike, it's Gilmore. Inside the 5, he'll have the first down. He's still going, and he's into the end zone. Monstrous effort from Gilmore. His 2nd touchdown catch. 14 yards from Flacco, and Baltimore on the verge of tying it.
This is an offense. They're struggling at the wide receiver position, but watch Gilmore. He is a great matchup. He goes 6'6", 250. Now watch him finish off this catch. Curtis Lofton can't get him down on the ground. DJ Hayden can't get him down on the ground. He drags 2 Oakland Raider defenders into the end zone. Big, strong, powerful, perfect matchup against linebackers and defensive backs.
What an added layer Gilmore would give Flacco in this offense if he could keep this kind of production. As Tucker's point after from 33 yards is good. These 2 offenses starting to pick up some steam. All tied at 17. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, on September the 10th, the Raiders partnered with the nonprofit 18 Reasons Cooking Matters at the Davis Street Family Resource Center. They participated in after-school cooking classes with 25 bilingual students to cook healthy alternatives to traditional Hispanic meals and learn healthy eating techniques. Classes taught in both Spanish and English. And Jack Del Rio coaching his hometown team right here from the East Bay. Starred at Hayward High School, one of their top all-time football players. Waited 4 years to get his next shot at a head coaching job. And what a start for them here in week number 2 as the Ravens able to answer and tie this game at 17. We go downstairs again to Scott Kaplan.
Spiro and Solomon, both of these offenses moving the ball very well, but defensively, both teams seem to be struggling. I think you can deduce on the Baltimore side, the loss of Terrell Suggs is a really, really big deal. On the Oakland side, Aldon Smith is getting a lot more playing time in for Ray Armstrong at the outside linebacker position. He's only been here a short period of time. So on the Oakland side, when you consider new coaching, a lot of new players, a whole new system, we understand a little bit of why Oakland is struggling defensively.
Heck of a learning curve, Scott.
Smith still has to deal with the arraignment in early October. Right now focused on football getting extensive time. This is Amari Cooper who had the long 68-yard touchdown catch in the first quarter, making guys miss. 8 yards, finally stopped by Elvis Dumerville.
And there you see some of the abilities we talked about with Amari Cooper. He's very smooth, very polished, and now you're going to see a penalty flag go up because there's a skirmish down on the field. But you saw Cooper creating yards after the catch, even breaking tackles to create yards after contact.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 22, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Boy, Jimmy Smith having a rough first half. He was beaten on the touchdown by Cooper early. And Solomon, a huge penalty on Smith right there.
Yeah, Smith's got to be able to keep his cool. Remember, he was lost to a foot injury midway point through last year, ended his season. I thought he was shaping up to be one of the elite corners in the National Football League. He told us yesterday, he says, well, not quite 100%, but he still can play at a very high level, but he's got to play with a calmer head and with more consistency.
Foot sprain on the season ended his year after just 8 games. Quick strike. This is Cooper, catch and run. On the 1st and 10 pass, Will Hill able to force him out of bounds. 6-yard catch from Cooper. These two, Solomon, have been looking for a franchise quarterback and a wide receiver, and they certainly hope that they have their tandem in Carr and Cooper.
And what did Jack Del Rio tell us about his quarterback and wide receiver tandem? He said these are foundational players that the Raiders organization will be able to build upon, not simply because of their talent. I think that's a plus, but just the way they carry themselves within and outside of the building.
2nd and 4. Here's Tywan Jones, able to sneak his way just inside Ravens territory, and now the physical play after the whistle continuing. We saw Donald Penn trying to come to the defense of his teammates. It'll be 3rd and short coming up as they mark it just inside that Ravens side of the field.
Well, guys have to be able to keep their calm. And Jack Del Rio talks about his players not getting overexcited. They wanted to really be able to calm themselves today and not be overly excited. Today was really about execution and being able to go out and make plays.
No penalty markers gone, so it's a 3rd and 2. Carr works from the shotgun where he has been so effective. Quick strike far side. It's Jones. Split out at the top of your screen by their coordinator, Bill Musgrave. And Musgrave, that new offense, quick, up-tempo, very similar, Solomon, to what Carr ran at Fresno State.
Yeah, and there's C.J. Mosley, very active in Denver 1 week ago. And, he's one of those players that I expect to be one of the next great players in a long lineage of great defensive players for the Baltimore Ravens. Last year was a first-round pick, and had it not been for Aaron Donald of the St. Louis Rams winning Rookie of the Year on the defensive side of the ball, I think C.J. Mosley would have been an easy pick. Made the first rookie team last year, with just a real phenomenal player.
There's Murray the burst on 1st and 10. Mosley, first Ravens rookie, voted to the Pro Bowl last season. Albert McClellan on the tackle, a pickup of 8.
Take a look. There's Darryl Smith, C.J. Mosley coming downhill, be able to make that tackle. No yards after contact. He's a sure tackler, something we saw last week when he was all over the field in that game in Denver.
2nd and 3, Carr. Get the football out so fast. last. And this defense, Solomon, obviously on its heels early. What have you seen from Baltimore? Obviously trying to turn the page after the injury to Suggs.
It sure would help to have some of these guys, wouldn't it? Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. They had gone 291 consecutive games since they last played a game without one of those guys taking the field over an 18-year period where they had those kind of great players on the field defensively for Baltimore.
As Scott told us earlier, C.J. Mosley was in first grade when that happened. Hard to believe. It was a long era in its final stages for the Ravens. Penalty marker whistles the play dead. Raiders have avoided penalties so far.
72 offense, 5-yard penalty.
It was John
First down.
called on a false start. Penn, who is so excellent protecting Carr's blind side last season, today making his 126th consecutive start.
Well, this Raiders offensive line is beginning to improve. They're doing such a good job. They're protecting their quarterback, Derek Carr, who's completed 7 consecutive passes. He's starting to get it.
7th play of the drive. This will be a 1st and 15. Looked at Jones, and airs it out near side. It's incomplete. Intended for Andre Holmes, who had that incredible catch earlier in the half. Or Darius Webb, who left the game earlier with an injury, back on the coverage.
And Holmes is a very impressive-looking receiver. They've got some talented players on this Raiders team. It's really now, I think, about keeping a coaching staff together that allows these players to play in the same system year in and year out, and begin to build a great foundation with this team that we've seen them go through a lot of coaches over the last decade or so. I think Jack Del Rio's got to be here to stay. Allow him time to really build a football team in a system that these players can grow in.
2nd and 15. Carr completes, make it 8. Or I should say after that last incompletion. Completes again. It completed 7 straight before that incompletion to Holmes. That time able to connect with Cooper for 5 yards.
Well, we came in asking, could Amari Cooper, Derek Carr, live up to promise. So far, they're off to a good start today. Cooper's got 5 catches, 95 yards, almost his first 100-yard receiving game of his career, and only his 2nd career game.
The Libby Crawford Award winner rewrote the record books for wide receivers at Alabama. Remember that national championship team 2 years ago with C.J. Mosley. 3rd and 10. Carr backpedaling, completes over the middle. It's the tight end, the rookie Clive Walford, the 3rd-round pick out of Miami, who played 24 snaps in his NFL debut last week. That time they pick up 4, but well short of the first down.
Wofford's one of those promising tight ends. I think along with Rivera and Lee Smith, you couple in the fullback, Marcel Reese. Tremendous check-down outlets for their quarterback. They're going to have to settle for a field goal, but right now both teams are doing a good job of getting productive points out of each possession.
46-yard attempt from Janikowski. 16th NFL season. You see the play clock winding down. The Raiders forced to burn a timeout. That'll be their 2nd. So a chance for Janikowski to think about it a little bit with this game tied at 17. Well, fans, you can replay every game from the 2015 season on demand with NFL Game Pass. Visit NFL.com/Game Pass and start your free trial today. We're in Oakland, O.Co Coliseum. Temperatures right around 90 degrees on a hot, hazy Bay Area day. You see some of the statistical numbers. And we have had some fireworks, Solomon, so far in this first half.
And they all have come by way of the passing game. The quarterbacks have gotten hot. The running games haven't really, taken flight and began to turn out yards. But the receivers, whether it's Amari Cooper, Steve Smith Sr., and the tight ends, I think on both teams are being very productive. Gilmore, tight end for the Ravens, he already has 2 touchdown receptions from Joe Flacco.
Had 1 all of last season as a rookie. Gilmore so far 4 catches, 79 yards in this game, and 16 different receivers between the 2 teams have caught a pass. 46-yard attempt from Janikowski, and he is perfect. So the Raiders and the Ravens going back and forth. We reached the 2-minute warning in Oakland. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, both the Raiders and the Ravens trying to break through at 0-1 here in week 2. And this one big for both teams for obvious reasons. But if you look at the Ravens after today, Solomon, they face their 2 biggest division rivals, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, over a 5-day span beginning next Sunday, putting even more pressure on them to get that win here today.
There you can ill afford to get off to that 0-2 start and dig a huge hole for yourself.
Ravens have never started 0-2 under John Harbaugh. That went through the back of the end zone. Flacco with 2 minutes left when we come back. Final 2 minutes, first half, O.Co Coliseum on a hot, humid day here in the Bay Area. 3-point lead for the Raiders. Joe Flacco and the Ravens have all 3 timeouts left. Penalty markers thrown, whistling the play dead. It's against the Ravens.
False start, number 80 offense, 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Oakland, Solomon, having all kinds of issues stopping opposing tight ends. We saw Tyler Eifert gash them last week. Cincinnati's tight end, a couple of touchdown catches, and it has been a similar deal today. You saw Crockett Gilmore, a couple of long touchdown catches, having his way with this defense. 1st and 15 over the middle. It's Gilmore. And another marker.
False start, number 71 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Rick Wagner.
Now, last week, you mentioned it, Spiro. This Raiders defense gave up huge plays to Tyler Eifert. The Cincinnati Bengals tight end scored 2 touchdowns. Already today, Crockett Gilmore has got himself 2 touchdowns against this Raiders defense. So if you're the Raiders, you go in at halftime and say, you know what, we might want to cover tight ends. We didn't do it week 1, and we're not doing it so far here today.
Back-to-back penalties, so 1st and 20, Ravens backed up. He's trying to gain some positive yardage. Forsett dumped right after the catch. Forced out of bounds by Taylor Mays. No gain as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report in New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher will have all the latest scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. All next on the Verizon halftime report. They are getting hot in the black hole. This defense trying to get off the field. Raiders have 1 timeout left. 2nd and 20. This is Forsett. Jack Del Rio, I'm sure, will burn his timeout here. Try to stop that clock. Aldon Smith on the tackle timeout. Not much in the playbook in this kind of scenario for the Ravens. 3rd and 15.
Unless you throw it to the tight end, because the Ravens haven't covered Crockett Gilmore today.
Flacco 15 of 19 for a $188 and 2 scores. They'll keep it on the ground for Set. Making guys miss. Beautiful juke move as he bounces outside. Very close to that first down marker. Needed 15 yards. No signal yet.
I think he got it. I mean, he's forward.
First down, Baltimore.
Yeah, absolutely. And watch, Charles Woodson comes over to make the tackle. Remember, Woodson's playing with that sore, dislocated shoulder, and so not as strong as he normally would be to keep Forsett from hitting the first down mark.
John Harbaugh told us what impresses him most about Forsett is yards after contact from his running back. Here is Taliaferro giving Forsett a blow. Another marker thrown. 6 yards on the pass hookup from Flacco. Here's Pete Morelli.
Illegal contact, number 50, the defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
It's Curtis Lofton, so another first down. After the penalty, Lofton, who has never missed a game in his 8-year NFL career. Last 3 years in New Orleans with the Saints. 1st and 10, Ravens have all 3 timeouts left. Still plenty of clock, 59 seconds. Flacco Strikes, completes to Smith, making guys miss. And Steve Smith inside Raiders territory, 20 yards, out of bounds, clock stops. Malcolm Smith finally got to him.
And right now, the Raiders have to do a better job of tackling in space, not doing a good job of, all you got to do is get Steve Smith out of bounds right there. Use your leverage. But when you whiff, you allow him to create yards after the catch. Nico Thorpe missing the tackle on that play.
See Smith's numbers so far, 3 catches for 69 yards. Some prolific numbers today from both teams. First and 10, Flacco puts the touch on that pass to Smith, and now they say incomplete. Smith was out of bounds.
It's an excellent route run by Steve Smith Sr. He's working against DJ Hayden. But look, he catches it, and then when he hits out of bounds, look, the ball comes out. Nico Thorpe comes over, a jarring hit. Right there, knocks the ball out.
Can't throw a better ball than that from Flacco. But what a defensive recovery, and Smith, who is as tough as they come, being looked at on that
Prior
sideline.
to the snap, we will have a review of the previous play.
So that last pass play will be looked at again. 3-point Raiders lead with under a minute left first half. Now the last pass between Flacco and Steve Smith being looked at here. DJ Hayden and Nico Thorpe on the coverage for Oakland. Let's bring in our officiating expert from New York, Mike Carey. Mike, take us through what they're looking at here.
Well, the rule is simple this year. Control, check, 2 feet down, check. Then does he have time to avoid contact or prepare for that contact? And this was right in the gray area. Look at Smith. He turns into the defender right before contact. If I was in the booth, I would reverse this to a catch fumble.
I agree with Mike Carey. It's a catch, 2 feet in bounds. He's hit, then fumbles out of bounds.
So many variations.
Had he been in the field of play, it would have been a fumble and potentially could have been recovered by either team.
Difficult decision here for the replay booth. They're looking at it, of course, back in New York. Dean Blandino, the head of officials. And Pete Borelli about to make the call.
After reviewing the play, it is a catch. The receiver had control of the ball with 2 feet down and actually the third foot coming down. Ball will be placed on the 22-yard line. First down.
All right, Mike Carey all over it. Catch and fumble out of bounds by Smith. And Solomon all over it as well. 23 yards on the hook up to Smith. And what a play for Smith, Solomon. He took a vicious hit.
And I always lean on the experts. That's why we have Mike Carey. He could help us out with that. But that's one of those plays that, remember, there was a point of emphasis that they needed to clarify what constitutes a catch throughout the offseason. I thought they did a really good job. And there you see an example of it.
What a half Steve Smith has had. And the Baltimore offense that struggled mightily in their loss in Denver last Sunday. Starting to gut this Raiders defense. First and 10. Here come the Raiders. Flacco somehow eludes the sack from Khalil Mack. Goes across his body on a comebacker to Aiken, and it's incomplete. Boy, how did Mack whiff on Flacco?
72 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Coleccio Semele, the man whistled on the penalty. Another reminder, the Verizon halftime report coming your way next. We'll send you to New York. All the scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. All next on the Verizon halftime report. There's Justin Tucker. His career-long a 61-yarder. He has as healthy a leg as there is in the NFL. It's the target line, the 61-yarder that I mentioned in 2013. Darren Waller, their rookie wide receiver, 6th-round pick in the slot towards the top of your screen. Here's Flacco on first and 20. There's it far side, incomplete. And trying to locate the rookie Waller, Nico Thorpe, Solomon, on the good coverage.
It looked like he was in trouble, too. All you got to do is fight back to the ball here because Thorpe is playing blind. And you might say, well, why is it that pass interference? Because the ball was so severely underthrown. I think if the receiver worked his way back to the ball, I think contact would have been initiated by Thorpe, and I think the officials have to throw the penalty flag.
Well, can this Oakland defense generate any kind of pass rush? Dormant last week. Nothing so far today. Here's Forsett. So dangerous. Inches close to the 20. Baltimore, again, still has all 3 of their timeouts. Forsett picks up 11. Larry Asante on the tackle. And now the Ravens will take their first timeout. What a day it's been so far for Steve Smith.
Yeah, he needs to come out and make some plays. And boy, did he get it going in the first quarter. Started making plays. And then he's able to shake loose from defenders. Great tackles. A 15-year veteran out here on this hot, humid day and still making plays in his home state of California. He's a reason the Ravens secondary repeatedly 4 catches, 92 yards, yet to get into the end zone. You know, he only 2 catches 1 week ago in Denver. He came in here determined to have a big game here today.
He was targeted 7 times in that loss in Denver last Sunday by Flacco. A far different set of results, at least through 1 half here. Where does John Harbaugh's offense go on 3rd and 9 with 24 seconds left? Flacco has time. Throws it inside. It's intercepted. Malcolm Smith on the pick, but a penalty marker coming in after it was taken. Ravens pointing in the direction of Oakland.
Holding, number 53 defense, 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down from the previous spot.
It's on Smith.
Oh, he was in coverage on the play. He gets his head around. He's able to make a play. There he is right here, and you're going to see him against Gilmore. Watching against number 80, right there, I think is where they may have called it. See, he gets his head around. I don't know that he inhibited in any way, shape, or form Gilmore from running away from him. He sort of had his hand on his back, sort of as a hand check. But I thought that was a great play by Malcolm Smith, and I disagree with the call.
1st and 10 after the penalty. Throw far side. It is incomplete. Waller again the intended receiver. And Nico Thorpe, Flacco trying to go towards him. Thorpe holding steady.
Now Thorpe is coming to the game, looked pretty good, making some plays. Able to get his hand on that play. I want to go back to the Malcolm Smith play. Remember, he was a former Super Bowl MVP and played for the Seahawks, played in Ken Norton Jr.'s defense up in Seattle, and has made some big plays in championship games and in Super Bowls. So he, I think, is well equipped to cover these Baltimore Ravens tight ends.
Smith back in his home state. Grew up in Northridge. 2nd and 10. Movement pre-snap. All kinds of movement. We've had a lot of penalties so far in this first half. You see Ken Norton Jr.
Defense, encroachment, number 96. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's against Autry.
Joe Flacco's working that hard count, was able to pull Autry into that neutral zone.
9th penalty against the Raiders, totaling 54 yards. The big one against Malcolm Smith a moment ago. And this one against Autry.
Right down, 2nd and 5, 14 seconds to go here in the half. If you're Flacco, you've got to take a shot in the end zone.
Ravens have not led in this game, down by as many as 10. 2nd and 5. Flacco under duress, completes over the middle. This is Terry Farrell. Play clock, or game clock, I should say, down to 7 seconds. You see Baltimore will receive to start the second half, as the Ravens will take their second timeout. Solomon, you take one more shot?
I think you have to, and the fact that they have a timeout in their hip pocket will allow them to throw the ball maybe short of the goal line, but I think you got to take a shot at the end zone. 7 seconds leaves you maybe time for one play, one opportunity to get it into the end zone.
We asked Joe Flacco about working with his new coordinator, Mark Trestman. Talked about how analytical Trestman is, making his decisions, and a big one that they'll have to make here in terms of the play call with 7 seconds left and 1 timeout remaining.
You see Mark Trestman designing something. Again, I'm trying to free up one of my tight ends. Either he or Steve Smith. Crockett Gilmore, number 80, or Steve Smith at
Smith locked in against Carey.
Holding for 38 defense after this field goal. Automatic first down.
They're only going to have 3 seconds, but watch Smith. He goes in and cuts back out. Carey grabs hold of him because Smith is going to get separation at that point. The officials were right on top of it. You know, when you're playing in such close proximities down there, you want to get your hands on them, but at some point you got to let them go, and then it becomes about footwork in terms of your ability to cover and stay step for step with the intended receiver. And now with 3 seconds to go, they're not going to be able to take advantage of a first down. They've got to go ahead and take the field goal.
Certainly lessens the blow of the penalty, and Flacco has to be frustrated. So a huge break for Oakland. That those 4 precious seconds come off the clock.
It almost pays TJ Carey to hold them.
Exactly right.
No harm done there.
Exactly right. 21-yard chip shot attempt from Tucker. Tucker, the Pro Bowler in 2013. At one point, hit 33 consecutive field goals that season. And he is perfect yet again. What a first half. The Raiders jumped on Baltimore early, 10-0 lead before Joe Flacco and the Ravens responded. And we are tied at 20 as we reach halftime here in Oakland. John Harbaugh and the Ravens looking to avoid that 0-2 start before they look ahead to the Bengals and Steelers over the next couple of weeks. And of course, Jack Del Rio in Oakland trying to pick up the pieces and bounce back after that very disheartening performance here in their season opener last Sunday. Fantastic quarterback numbers from both sides. Derek Carr, 228 yards passing, a touchdown. And Flacco, 18 for 24, 225, and 2 scores. As we go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
Coach, clearly the tight end is a target. Joe Flacco's been able to use it all day. How do you take away the tight end, and how do you ramp up some pass rush in the second half?
Yeah, that's what we got to figure out, and they have to figure out how to stop us. You know, 2 offenses are pretty much having their way. Good ball game, fighting hard. Look, like where we are. Look, we just got to come out and play better football in the second half.
Well, like you said, last week was not indicative of who you thought the Raiders were. You seem satisfied with the first half.
I wouldn't say satisfied. I just say we're going to keep playing. Whoever figures out how to slow the other down on defense is going to have a good day.
All right, Coach, thank you and good luck. Back up to you, Spiro.
All right, Scott, that takes us to the end of the first half. All tied at 20. We'll be back with the Verizon after the end of the first half. All tied at 20. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report next. You're watching the NFL on CBS. All tied at 20 as we welcome you back to O.co Coliseum as we are just about ready for the third quarter. Now let's take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Joe Flacco over the middle to the tight end. Crockett Gilmore, that second effort, getting him in his second touchdown catch of the first half. As the Ravens able to come back from 10 down and able to tie it with that late field goal from Justin Tucker at 20. Spiro, Solomon, Wilcox. We'll hear from Scott Kaplan in just a couple of minutes. Second half adjustments, Solomon. What do you expect in the second half? It's been a fun game so far.
It has, and both quarterbacks have gone up and down the field. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, you've got to start to now begin to generate some kind of pressure without Terrell Suggs, and then you got to turn on Justin Forsett. Get the run game going for the Baltimore Ravens. If you're the Oakland Raiders, you've got to defend the seam route and cover their tight ends. Gilmore and Max Williams have combined for 5 catches and 2 touchdowns in the first half. They did a poor job of covering tight ends 1 week ago, and again, that trend has continued today.
Talked about the importance of this game for both of these teams. Certainly for the Ravens, they've got some tough divisional opponents over the next couple of weeks. Solomon, as we revisit some of the key plays in the first half.
Well, here's a play to Gilmore, the tight end. This is a single high safety, and they're going to blitz coming off the corner, and that means it's man-to-man coverage. Taylor Mays has to take the slot receiver, then the linebacker, Curtis Loftus, got to come over in man-to-man coverage on Gilmore. Instead, Gilmore just sets free. He can't get over in time, and the center field safety, Woodson, can't get over in time, and it's an easy touchdown from Flacco to Gilmore.
First and 10. Play action from Flacco, set up nicely by what he did in the first half. Here's Smith, where the degree of difficulty on some of these even intermediary throws has been very high. tackled by Khalil Mack. Smith actually loses a yard.
You know, Mack has got to do a better job of generating pressure as well. They haven't been able to get to Joe Flacco. They've got to be able to get some pressure coming off the corner, whether it's Khalil Mack, whether it's Aldon Smith, Justin Tuck. Right now, Flacco is having his way with his defense because there's very little pressure on the veteran quarterback.
Jack Del Rio said the same thing to Scott Kaplan as he walked off. Second and 11. Raiders not fooled as Forsett dumped for a loss of a yard. And Malcolm Smith on the tackle. We go downstairs to Scott Kaplan.
Spiro walking from halftime from the locker room out to the field with John Harbaugh. He talked about the lack of pass rush. And when I said, is there anything you can do with your scheme to get to the quarterback? He said, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. On the other hand, he said, look, they're throwing the ball real quickly. They're getting rid of it quickly. We're going to have to tackle once the receiver gets his hands on the ball.
It certainly feels different for this Ravens defense. No Terrell Suggs, torn Achilles, devastating loss for Baltimore at that side of the football. 3rd and 13 for Flacco out of the gun. Little sidearm delivery to Forsett. Close to the 25, brought down after a pickup of 7, well short of the marker. And Baltimore's punt team onto the field, tackled by Malcolm Smith, and Lofton also there.
Raiders defense came out. I'm sure they talked about it at halftime. Got to do a better job on defense getting off the field on 3rd down. Remember, this 4-3 scheme brought in by Ken Norton is based on speed, textbook tackling, what you saw right there, and then top-down man-to-man coverage on defense.
First punt today for Sam Cook. 2 times selected as a Pro Bowl alternate in the AFC. TJ carries, going to field it from his own 30. Stumbles across the 35. He's got a couple of blockers. Spraying him free inside Baltimore territory. It's a 22-yard return, but a marker is thrown after the 46-yard punt from Cook.
46 yards on the punt. During return, illegal block in the back, number 51, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, and timeout.
That's one of their backup linebackers, Ben Heaney, has that return coming back. Well, Derek Carr, a question mark on whether he would play after going down with that deep bruise on his right throwing thumb late in the first half last Sunday. Quickly put those questions to bed with what was a marvelous first half. You saw that last stat. First Raiders quarterback since Carson Palmer in 2012 to throw for 200-plus yards in the first half. 1st and 10. Carr's going to roll out. Pump fakes. Fires on the run. Intended for Crabtree. It's incomplete. We talked with him on Friday, Sam. He said there was little to no chance that he was going to sit this game out.
He understands his responsibility to this team. And boy, did he come out making plays. He said he had to stay calm. He had to control the excitement and energy he felt last week, which he felt threw him off his game. Well, he was able to suppress that and come out playing a very high level in the first half of this ball game. Now he's got to figure out how to win, how to close out games against top competition in the National Football League. But he understands what he means to this organization to be available each and every Sunday.
2nd and 10. Carr under center. Play action. Fakes the handoff to Murray. For Reese is incomplete. And another penalty marker comes in from that Ravens secondary. Courtney Upshaw was dropping back in coverage.
Pass interference, number 91 defense. Automatic 1st down.
And it's on Upshaw.
Yeah, Upshaw's working against Marcel Reese. We told you they were going to go to Reese sooner or later. Reese had 2 touchdown receptions in the 4th quarter of last week's game in space. Not sure that Upshaw is up to the challenge. Thought he had good positioning, but yet using his hands in coverage beyond that 5-yard boundary where you're allowed to grab, hold, and control the receiver. Once you get beyond 5 yards up the field, you got to move your feet, take your hands off the receiver.
So 1st and 10 after the penalty. Latavius Murray flanking Carr. Spotted just outside the 42. Quick strike. This is Cooper, the rookie. Turning those legs close to the 50. And run out of bounds at around the 47 by Jimmy Smith. Tuesday, it's a matchup you don't want to miss. Stephen Colbert goes one-on-one with Donald Trump this Tuesday on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Early stages, second half, Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcox, Scott Kaplan. 2nd and 5. Another quick strike from Carr. Murray out of the backfield. And just to go back to Carr, we spent a lot of time with him on Friday. Saw him. He's such a likable kid. He's humble, and it's so clear and genuine that he wants to be great with this franchise that has been searching for a franchise quarterback for so long.
Yeah, and I asked him, I said, how do you play the position? He said, the #1 goal, protect the football.
He certainly has done that here. That's a completion to Crabtree, who feels like he's got the first down, and it is as they move the chains yet again.
And Spiro, he said, not only does he have to protect the ball, he says, I got to protect myself. I learned that watching my brother play in Houston. He said his brother David Carr told him, hey, you got to be able to protect yourself by getting the ball out of your hands quickly and into the hands of your receiver. Knowing blitz protections and blitzing schemes, I think allows him to play at a high level so early in his career.
The Raiders go 2 tight ends on 1st and 10. Murray showing some burst. Inside the Baltimore 40, picks up 9. Tackled by Mosley and Webb. And once again, this Ravens defense backpedaling.
Yeah, this Ravens defense looks totally different from the defense we saw 1 week ago in Denver, where they were stout. They were able to baffle Peyton Manning in the passing game. They pressured him, were able to turn him over. As you take a look at the defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, right now they're having problems really stopping the quick passing game from Derek Carr.
2nd and a short 1. Murray's got it in Miller. That's inside the 35. Close to the 32-yard line, tackled by Lawrence Guy. Salmon, you had to expect there to be an emotional hangover after they watched their guy Suggs, their emotional leader, get carted off the field. And so far, it just hasn't been the same defense.
Yeah, and when you talk to Coach Harbaugh and even Joe Flacco, he says, we have other leaders on this football team. They cited guys like Marshall Yanda. On defense, they talked about Darryl Smith, the 12-year veteran out of Georgia Tech. And some of the other guys, even C.J. Mosley and Chris Canty. And now that leadership has to take form in the presence of production on game day.
Looks like some movement on the Raiders side.
Number 88, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the rookie tight end out of Miami, Clive Walford, their 3rd-round pick. Who Jack Del Rio said would be more worked into the offense in this game. 12 Oakland penalties totaling 72 yards. And that's some of the Raiders of old that we've seen from a franchise that has struggled so mightily over the last 10-plus years. Reese, the fullback, in the slot. As they go 3 wide receivers towards the top of your screen. 1st and 15. Ball's pass for Reese, broken up. What a defensive recovery by the safety, Will Hill, who revived his career last season. The Ravens locked him up with a 2-year extension as his reward.
Hill knew they were blitzing that time, so it was a three-step drop from Carr, and so the ball's going to come out quick. And there you see C.J. Mosley, Darryl Smith, 51, 57, right around the line of scrimmage, trying to get penetration, forcing the
Thank you for joining us on Raider Reaction Black Friday, Raider Nation, where every Friday is Black Friday. Silver and black beers, we dust off Raider Classics. 2015, Week 3, Ravens at Raiders.
Like a pinball getting to the 30-yard line. Elvis Dumerville, Mosley, also Darryl Smith on the tackle. He picks up 7 hard-fought yards.
Let's see if C.J. Mosley will take us to the ball, as he normally does, getting on top of blockers. That time you see the cutback, and Malik Jackson stayed with him. Mosley's able to get there, but Elvis Dumerville did a really good job of closing in from the backside on that play.
So Dumerville expected to be more of a 3-down player, as he was for most of his career in Denver. Only differences now with Suggs out for the season. Play clock down to 1. Carr gets it off 3rd and 8. Pass a little bit low, intended for Crabtree again, who had a couple of steps on Webb.
They're playing a cover 2. This ball is going to be thrown in that hole here, and what has to happen is the safeties have to come over and close on that route. And you can see this is going to be underthrown a little bit, but see that small window? Derek Carr was trying to squeeze it in for a big play.
Here's Janikowski. His hit from 23 and 46. This one from 48 yards. This one has plenty of leg, and it is through the uprights. So Janikowski remains perfect, and the Raiders move back in front of the Ravens on CBS. Some of the young Raider fans enjoying the game day experience outside O.co Coliseum on an awfully hot day. As the calendar turns towards late September, 23-20 after the 48-yard field goal from Sebastian Janikowski. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, our producer Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, our director, and the rest of our fantastic CBS crew here in Oakland. Michael Campanero back deep, standing in the back of his own end zone. And he will not play it. Flacco will have it with this Baltimore offense from the 20 when we come back. Khalil Mack on the Oakland sideline as their defense back onto the field. 1st and 10, Baltimore from the 20, down 3. Flacco has used the play action well in this game. Pass incomplete, intended for Steve Smith. One of the concerns today for Baltimore, Solomon, their offensive line. We know that Eugene Monroe was out with the concussion. What have you seen from Hurst and Wagner?
Oh, they're doing a really good job. They're holding up. They're protecting Joe Flacco, which has allowed Flacco to get hot so far in this ball game with 19 completions. So Hurst, Wagner, they're holding up. Khalil Mack, he's not able to get pressure on Flacco. On the other side, neither is Aldon Smith. So right now, the young tackles are holding up.
2nd and 10. Flacco again playing. This time tries the near side of the field. Smith connects. What a play by Steve Smith, jawing at the Raiders sideline. 1st down reception from the 15-year vet. He picks up 11.
And you can tell Mark Trestman, the offense coordinator, has a lot of confidence right now, I think, in these tackles to hold up on these long vertical routes outside on the perimeter. It takes a long time for those routes to develop. Protection has to be able to hold up to give Flacco time to hit the top of his drop and still drive the ball deep outside the number.
Flacco on 1st and 10. Far side, it's Smith again. Smith over the century mark. 6 yards on that catch. He's got 7 catches, Solomon, 118 yards, 48th career game where he's eclipsed the 100-yard mark. That's the 7th most in NFL history.
And we've seen Trestman dial up 3 consecutive pass attempts for Flacco on this drive, 2 coming off play action to kind of help that offensive line. But right now, they're very confident that they can protect and keep guys like Khalil Mack from getting to Joe Flacco.
Mack back on the field on 2nd and 4. Here is 4th. Flacco trying to soften him up with the pass. Malcolm Smith, the former Super Bowl MVP a couple of years ago. On the tackle, it'll be 3rd down coming up.
This Malcolm Smith is a really good football player. He's got good instincts. He's not overly huge, but he knows the system well. And you can tell he plays faster than the other 10 guys on defense because he's familiar with the system. He knows where to be, and he can play much faster without any guesswork.
Raiders coming on 3rd and 3. Flacco under pressure. It is incomplete. Intended receiver was Marlon Brown. Larry Asante nearly had what would have been a miraculous diving interception.
Khalil Mack, he coming. Look at it. He's working against Rick Wagner. He's able to get pressure. They're able to also get Lamar Smith in the backfield. It forces the overthrow from Flacco and near interception. So pressure able to get home a little bit, forcing Flacco to hurry that throw and throw it inaccurately.
It's one of the first times Aldon Smith able to get to Flacco as well, finally forcing him to make a throw under duress. Only the 2nd punt from Sam Cook as Baltimore's drive stalls. This is T.J. Carey. Questionable decision to play it there. Takes an onslaught of Ravens special teamers after the 55-yard punt. Khalil Mack being worked on at right leg on the Raiders sideline, where we talked about what a nice job Baltimore had been doing with their pass protection. First time that the Raiders defense have been able to generate any kind of rush in this game. Latavius Murray, the lone setback for Oakland, 1st and 10 from just outside the 15. Carr, all day to throw, takes a chance down the far side, incomplete. And a late marker comes in. Amari Cooper, the intended receiver. The marker thrown way back at around the 48 of Oakland.
Holding. Number 22 defense. 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
It's Jimmy Smith's second penalty. He had the unsportsmanlike earlier. Salmon, he was beat for the early touchdown by Cooper. And a huge one right there.
Yeah, and they got him for holding. It appeared that he was working against Amari Cooper on that play as Carr's cutting it loose. Last year he had the lowest per attempt average of any of the quarterbacks in the National Football League, and today, in the second game of the 2015 season, we've seen him go deep and trying to drive the ball down the field.
Only a 5-yard penalty, so the market just outside the 20. 1st and 10. Carr surveys the defense. That one may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. As Carr looks over from the play call as we revisit some of our key storylines in this Week 2 matchup.
Yeah, we asked if Derek Carr can begin to show his promise by giving us production today, and boy, has he. Over 200 yards passing in the first half alone. And Justin Forsett still off to a slow start, even though he's averaging 5.1 yards per carry. He just needs more opportunities.
Darius Smith, Baltimore's rookie linebacker, the 4th-round pick, who was inactive last week, on the field on 2nd and 10. Murray picking up some hard-fought yardage. Some extra push against Lee Smith, free agent acquisition who came over from Buffalo. Some pushing and shoving against Upshaw as they continue to work right in that groin area, Solomon of Matt.
Yeah, he's got to be able to generate pass rush. Aldon Smith has to be able to generate pass rush as well. We saw him nearly get home to Flacco on that last attempt, forcing the overthrow.
Derek Carr, if you've just joined us, 19 for 29, 238 yards. He's got Tywan Jones split out at the top of your screen here on 3rd and 4. Carr looking left, middle, caught. First down, Oakland. Andre Holmes, 8 yards as Oakland moves the chains.
Andre Holmes is looking really good today. He's really challenging and competing, coming out, making some plays. And you love Derek Carr. He's got the arm talent. I think we saw that 1 year ago. And now I think all the tools you need from the neck up in terms of awareness with the blitz protection, reading coverages. You saw him rip through his progression there and come around and find Andre Holmes to be able to pick up the first down.
Holmes had that critical 21-yard catch to set up a score in the first half. Look at Murray making a miss. Still going. Murray taking on the entire Ravens defense, it seemed like. 5 very tough fought yards. Tackled finally by Darryl Smith.
Oh, this is what you love about Latavius Murray. He's big, 6'3", 225, but he's got cat-like quickness in short space area. And he can make you miss in the phone booth, and you saw it there. And that's unusual for a man his size. But I love the determination to turn it into a positive play because they appear to have had him stop in the backfield.
Murray last week, 44 yards in the ground. So far, 11 rushes today, 52 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 5. There's Murray trying to find the edge. Crosses the 40. And close to the 42, tackled by Lawrence Guy. And now, Solomon, you have to wonder about this heat. Temperature's right around 90 degrees. And now these guys are able to fight through it as the second half winds down.
Important for the Raiders to be able to stay on the field and use that heat to their advantage. Try to wear down the opponent. So far today, they haven't been so bad on 3rd down. 5 of 9, and now they're looking at another opportunity. And whenever you can run the ball as well to set up the 3rd short right now, it's a pretty good situation.
Roy Helu, the 3rd down specialist on the field. 3rd and 3. That pass thrown behind Crabtree. What a catch. First down, Oakland.
Strong hands from Michael Crabtree. because watch 24, Kyle Arrington. He's got his hand in there. He's digging, and that ball is literally just off the turf when Crabtree makes the reception. Look at that. But yet he holds on to it. He's able to pull it into his body to secure the catch, even though Kyle Arrington was contesting all the way.
Derek Carr told us that Crabtree has the best hands that he's ever seen. Crabtree putting him on display on that catch in traffic. 1st and 10, Carr from the gun. Good strike. It's deflected. It looked like it was Mosley. Solomon who got a hand on it.
While we talk about side adjusting there, I think Amari Cooper could have done a better job of reading the coverage sooner and settling into that area. That's what Carr was expecting from him, but they're a young tandem. It's the first year for Cooper, and still you could tell not batting 1,000 in that area, but we've seen him convert plenty enough because Cooper already has 100 yards receiving in the game.
68 of those yards coming on the early touchdown catch against Jimmy Smith. 2nd and 10. Fake the draw, everyone fooled. Carr's going to run for the 1st down and more. Inside the 30 and runs out of bounds. Boy, he learned the hard way last week not to be too physical with the defense. Just runs out, picks up 24 yards.
Watch number 50, Albert McClellan, a linebacker, in man on the line of scrimmage. And there you see Ladarius Webb. See, he pulls it, and he's able to get outside. From there, it's just all speed. Last week, he tried to stiff arm a defender and ended up hurting his hand. He says, I got to be smarter, just run out of bounds. You can tell he learned his lesson, live to fight another day.
Quick snap, 1st and 10. Carr, all day to throw, end zone, it is caught. Crabtree, touchdown. There is a marker thrown back at the 13-yard line. If it stands, it's a 29-yard touchdown catch.
Holding the 21 defense. Penalties decline. Result will close the touchdown.
Michael Crabtree. And Carr Solomon had all day to carve him up.
And the secondary coverage, look, he'll just get out of position because they'll roll out here, but then watch Crabtree just outrun the defense. And Derek Carr has the arm strength to sling it clear back to the other side of the field. Once Hill gets out of position, the arm strength burns the defensive coverage. Touchdown Crabtree.
And Solomon, you saw before the ball was snapped, Hill looking at Kendrick Lewis with his arms up.
Confusion.
All kinds of confusion in that Ravens secondary. Every scoring play subject to automatic review.
He got in there. He was able.
Doesn't appear to be any doubt.
Yeah. It's just a great catch. He had to wait all day for that ball. And that's not an easy throw. In fact, most coaches would tell quarterbacks, don't throw it late. Clear across to the other side of the field. But when you have exceptional arm talent like Derek Carr, you can take that shot.
Janikowski's point after is good. And Oakland rebuilding its 10-point lead. Crabtree, 7 catches, 91 yards, as Carr going right at this Baltimore defense. Will be in Miami for Buffalo and the Dolphins. Michael Crabtree, 91 yards receiving. Raiders have not had 2 receivers go over 100 yards in the same game since January 2012.
You can see the fans in the black hole. They're sharing the energy with their quarterback, Derek Carr. He told us that sometimes he tends to get overly excited. He said he plays with a passion where he's fired up. He said you just can't be that way at quarterback. You got to learn to stay calm.
We go to New York in an update with JB.
Spiro, not a sight Dallas fans want to see.
Yeah, Tony Romo goes back to pass, sacks, loses the ball. Philadelphia will recover. But the seriousness is right here as you see Tony Romo holding his left shoulder. He came out of the game, replaced by Brandon Wheaton. The extent of the injury yet to be determined.
Back to Spiro, Solomon, and Scott.
How about this, JB? No DeMarco Murray, no Dez Bryant, now no Tony Romo playing for Dallas.
Got the news earlier that absence of Des Bryant maybe longer than they initially thought. Quick strike crossing route over the middle, and now Flacco looking at Smith almost exclusively. Solomon with the other receivers so inexperienced and unproven. First down catch.
Yeah, DJ Hayden in coverage, and if Charles Woodson doesn't make this tackle, Steve Smith Sr. is going to run a long way for a touchdown. Excellent tackle by the veteran safety.
Steve Smith putting together an incredible day. DJ Hayden is the injured Raider. Smith now 8 catches, 132 yards. Let's go downstairs to Scott.
Well, guys, Khalil Mack has not been back into this game yet. Now, he's been on the sideline when Oakland was on offense, and he's been getting treatment on his right leg. The trainer was taking an elbow and working on his right groin and hip flexor, and then he walked down to the bench, and he's been continuing to stretch it. But what I can tell you is that while the Raiders are not reporting an injury currently to Khalil Mack, he is still standing on the sideline, helmet on. Looks like he's ready to go back into the game, but again, he's been working hard on that right groin and hip flexor.
All right, Scott, thanks. So we'll keep an eye on Mack, the young second-year defensive stud, and now more injury concerns with Hayden Solomon, who's been impressive in this game. Help to the sideline.
Hot, humid day. Cramps begin to set in late in ball games as we approach the fourth quarter. You have to wonder what what Hayden is dealing with, and same with Khalil Mack, because they're going in and out of the game. It appears to be something similar to cramps. Don't want to guess at it, but when you have those cramps, it'll lock up on you. You have to get a massage.
First and 10, Flacco. Side throw, it is caught. First down pass play, and again it's Smith. Solomon, they can't stop him. Nico Thorpe on the tackle. He picks up a dozen and another first down.
We said they would work against these young corners today, and right now the 15-year veteran, he's feasting on guys like Hayden, Carey, Thorpe, third-year player out of Auburn. So they're young, they're inexperienced, and Steve Smith Sr. has plenty of experience.
Mack on the field for Oakland, first and 10. Underneath throw from Flacco. That is Forsett out of the backfield. And now it looks like Justin Tuck is hurt. Tuck, the two-time Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion with the Giants. His second season in Oakland. What a set of experience and skills he's brought to this defense. And suddenly they're dropping like flies on that Oakland side.
I like what Del Rio said, and he mentioned guys like Justin Tuck. He said, we bring in veterans here. We don't just bring them in because they were once good, and maybe they're not the same productive players they used to be. He said, but they're good guys for our locker room. They're good leaders, and they come to work every day doing all the right things, setting a great example for young players. And we walked into the Raiders building. Didn't you get a sense that the enthusiasm and the atmosphere was totally different than anything I had ever experienced? And Jack Del Rio said he had to convince guys to come here and join his coaching staff. He said, I had to share my vision with them. And it's the same with players like a Justin Tuck who had been successful other places. You've got to convince them that you're going to do the right things.
Second and 9. Mack again on the field for Oakland. Smith with another catch. Incredible day he's putting together. 7-yard catch that time. And Smith now 10 catches, approaching 150 yards.
And look at Khalil Mack trying to come in, trying to get pressure on Flacco, but not before Flacco whips this ball over to the sideline. Steve Smith Sr. You said 10 catches, 150 yards, and he's looking for more, Spiro.
Could be the final play of the quarter, 3rd and 4. Flacco. That pass incomplete. Parker comes in very close to the intended receiver, Smith. And it looks like this one against that Oakland defense.
Illegal contact, number 39. Defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That's Keith McGill, the backup cornerback.
Remember, they teach top-down defense. So look, hand on them. Still right about that 5-yard area, then hand comes off. And then it was actually Steve Smith Sr. who gave the last shove. I think he was in excellent position to have his hands on the receiver, but then I thought as they left that 5-yard area, I thought McGill took his hands off the receiver.
Justin Tuck back on the field. This is 1st and 10. Taliaferro out of the backfield, brought brought down right after the catch. Lofton on the stop. Just short of the Oakland 40.
I want to go back to that coverage by McGill because we go into the break right now, but I think you've got to be able to let him play, Spiro.
This thing has gotten awfully physical, hasn't it? That's the end of the third quarter. Oakland in front of the Ravens as we head to the fourth. We'll return to Oakland after this. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Back with you in Oakland. Start of the fourth quarter. The Raiders in front of the Ravens by 10. The quarterback efficiency, Solomon, so impressive.
Yeah, they're lighting it up. Neither quarterback has rarely been touched. They haven't thrown an interception, so they're on fire. It may come down to who has the ball last here today.
Taliaferro, again, who was inactive last week. The long setback. Flacco just had to get rid of it, and a late marker comes in.
Holding, number 72 defense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Osemele penalized for the second time.
Take a look at the left guard. There you see the hold right there. And here comes Khalil Mack getting pressure on Flacco, forcing that ball to go into the dirt. So Mack is starting to get some pressure on the quarterback. You can see holding that leg that Scott told us about down on the field.
Saw the trainers working on that right groin area, but Mack's going to quit his way through on 2nd and 18 and stay on the field. Flacco slings it near side. It's caught. Aiken climbing a ladder for it. Monstrous play by Kamar Aiken. 27 yards and a Ravens first down.
Larry Asante and Nico Thorpe in that cover 2 zone. They allow Aiken to get between the corner and the safety, and what a throw. Joe Flacco threading the needle on that one. The protection held up. He was able to step up to the pocket and deliver a strike.
22nd career 300-yard passing game from Joe Flacco, the 8th-year quarterback. 1st and 10. This is Taliaferro, who showed some dynamic ability as a rookie last season before his season was ended in mid-December. That time picks up 5, tackled by Curtis Lofton.
A little more pressure here in the second half than what we saw in the first on Joe Flacco, but still not enough to prevent him from converting crucial third downs, having big plays, throwing the ball down the field, and yet again having this Baltimore Ravens offense on the move looking for points.
The Raiders have told us that DJ Hayden is cramping up. His return is questionable. They continue to look at him in the Oakland locker room. 2nd and 5. Flacco under center, throwing off his back foot, unable to locate Steve Smith Sr., who was covered by TJ Carey.
No, Smith was open. He's working against Carey, as you said. There was pressure in the face of Flacco that forced him to throw this ball high. Now watch it. See, Steve Smith Sr. can't go up and get it. That's because the pocket was collapsing in the face of Flacco. He had to kind of throw it in that fadeaway move. Now watch how he drifts back when he throws it. That's why the ball sails high. Alden Smith was in his face.
Critical juncture early in the fourth, and it looks like Oakland will burn a timeout. Jack Del Rio wanted to make sure his guys are right. Big third down. Oh, your weekend starts with Kirk Cousins and the Redskins in an NFC East match against Eli and the Giants. It's all here Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Giants a loser today at home against Atlanta, and Washington riding Cousins' hot hand today. Getting themselves a Week 2 win. Enormous 3rd and 5 here as Flacco will work from the gun just inside the Oakland 20. Coming on the blitz. Flacco puts some touch on it. Incomplete. Off the hands of Marlon Brown. Nico Thorpe, who has played some tight coverage, Solomon, today, was there for Oakland.
Yeah, Thorpe just hung in there because Flacco had to float that one a little bit. The ball kind of hung in the air and allowed Thorpe to close in on it. He stayed in the hip pocket of Brown, but credit the pressure in the face of Flacco where he had to kind of float it and allow his intended receiver to run under it.
Solomon, we should point out, Crockett Gilmore, Baltimore's tight end, was so huge in the first half. No catches since halftime.
They're doubling him at the line of scrimmage, banging him on every single play.
Justin Tucker is hit from 22 and 21. This one good from 37. The Ravens inching a little bit closer. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, two teams that entered the day in search of their first win of the young season. Baltimore, a loser in Denver last Sunday, staying on the East Coast, headquartered in San Jose this week. And the Raiders blown out here at home by the Bengals, and Marvin Lewis right now trying to hold the Ravens off, up 7 early in the fourth. Solomon, we mentioned Crockett Gilmore, the big first half that he had. What has been Oakland's adjustment since then?
Yeah, we said they would have to adjust at halftime. Here he is right here, but watch how they just come and just jam him at the line of scrimmage. There's going to be two defenders colliding with him right there, and then that forces Flacco to go elsewhere with the ball. We told you pressure in his face made him floated on third down play because this Raiders defense is locked in on taking the tight end away from Joe Flacco. We'll see if the Raiders can continue that trend. As we're now in the fourth quarter, you know Flacco is going to try to go back to Crockett, looking to make a play.
Baltimore is staying on the West Coast, of course. Their defense on the field here, 1st and 10. Latavius Murray, 13 rushes. He approaches 60 yards, tackled that time by Darryl Smith. Coming up after the game, time permitting, we'll have the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher with all the latest scores and highlights. A busy week 2 around the NFL, all next on the Subway postgame show. We mentioned Baltimore's tough divisional schedule coming up. They'll play Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in a 5-day span. And Oakland has to hit the road for 2 straight in Cleveland next Sunday, followed by a game in Chicago. 2nd and 7. Carr backpedaling all the way to his 7-yard line. That pass incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Michael Rivera.
Carr goes down because he's under pressure. He's running for his life. But Rivera, his intended receiver, he also went down. Looked as though he tripped as he was running through that infield dirt area on the football field. So that play was all for naught. 3rd and 7. Look for them to maybe go back to one of their tight ends, because whether it's Walford, whether it's Rivera, whether it's Lee, when they look for him, these guys have got no.
Oakland offense that led the league in 3 and outs last season has punted just once. 3rd and 7. Kept upright, incomplete. Amari Cooper, well played by Jimmy Smith. Oakland will punt.
Oh, this is great coverage by Smith. I thought Cooper had a step on him, but Jimmy Smith with that length, he's got great length. Recently signed a new contract despite the injury that derailed half of his season 1 year ago. Made him big-time money to make plays like that. That's what you get from Jimmy Smith when he's on top of his game.
King has been mostly a spectator today. Beautiful kick. And he's going to take an Oakland bounce all the way down to the 6.
Wow.
How about that leg from Marquette King? Feeling awfully pleased with himself.
Welcome back to Oakland. The Raiders lead the Ravens 30-23. Raiders cornerback DJ Hayden went into the locker room, got a bag of was able to get water, and he's back out on the field.
Cramping up, so a good sign for that Oakland defense. Just to go back to the punt by Marquette King, Solomon, 70 yards before that last time out, longest of his career. And to hear coaches talk about special teams, that punt just so big for Oakland.
It flipped the field. I mean, that was a Ray Guy-like punt. You know, Ray Guy, Hall of Fame career here with the Oakland Raiders, and boy, that was reminiscent of what he did for this team for so many years.
Aiken, catch and run. He's going, still on his feet, crosses the 45 and all the way inside Oakland territory. Finally forced out of bounds by Charles Woodson. 38 yards on a catch and rip from Kamar Aiken.
That's all we're going to do. We're going to show you that, and watch him on the catch and run. He is determined. Remember, he fumbled on their first offensive play. It turned the ball over and gave the Raiders the ball immediately to take a 10-point lead. You can tell he's trying to make up for it, and what an effort on that play by Aiken.
Aiken able to beat Nico Thorpe on the crossing route. First down and a lot more for the Ravens. Draw play, Lorenzo Taliaferro, the big dynamic second year back out of Coastal Carolina. Back to New York and an update with JB.
Spiro, the injury news on Tony Romo, not good. Jordan Hicks falls on Tony Romo here on this play. It's been diagnosed as a fractured left clavicle. There's no timetable for his return. Brandon Whedon is now the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And more tests will be performed tomorrow. Back to Spiro Ditas.
JB, devastating news. Penalty marker comes in. Gilmore, with a monstrous first half, no catches since. Locked in on the coverage with
Pass
Larry Asante.
interference, number 42 defense. Automatic first down.
Asante is locked in man-to-man coverage against Crockett Gilmore. Gilmore is giving this defense fit. Look at the right hand of Asante. He wraps them, and then he turns them. See, and that's what the official is looking for. If you just have the hand there as sort of a positioning maneuver and don't turn the intended receiver, you're going to get away with the touch.
First and 10, here's Gilmore. Inside the 30. Close to a first down for Baltimore. About a yard short. Stopped by Malcolm Smith. Coming up after the game time permitting, the Subway postgame show from New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower with all the latest scores around the league here in week 2. All coming up on the Subway postgame show. Flacco on second and short. A give to Forsett. Inches inside the 25, and the Ravens with a first down and 10. As that clock continues to run, we come up on 10 minutes left in a 7-point game.
New set of downs. Joe Flacco's trying to tie this ball game up. He's got his offense just churning out yards each and every play. Already over 300 yards passing on the day for Flacco. Right now, he's just really picking this defense apart.
First and 10. Flacco connects. That's Marlon Brown over the middle. Brown stopped by Curtis Lofton right at the 20. They pick up 4. As Flacco bouncing back, we talked about his performance last Sunday in Denver. Lowest passer rating for him since week 4 of 2011. You rarely will see Flacco struggle in back-to-back games.
That's right.
So far, 30 of 40 today, 368 yards and 2 touchdowns. But they need some more here, down 7. Draw play 2-4-7. Forward progress takes him to the 15, 4 more yards, about a yard short, Solomon, on the first down.
Well, this offense has been really good today because Forsett has been good in these situations. We saw him convert a 3rd and 15 on a draw play in the first half to get those final few points at the end of the first half, and now you saw him convert that play to create a 3rd and 1 opportunity.
3rd and short. Trustman dials up the run. Forsett needed to get to the 14. And Forsett appears to be inches short. It'll be 4th down and decision time, Solomon, for Mark Trestman and John Harbaugh.
I think they're doing a good job. Remember, they have already converted one other 4th down opportunity. We already told you, just running the ball. Trestman has been able to convert a 3rd and 15. So, yeah, I'd be inclined to stay on the field. The Raiders haven't really stopped this offense all day.
4th and inches. Flacco's going to try to lunge for it. Kyle moves, and he's got it. First down, Ravens.
Yeah, it helps they have a quarterback who's 6'6", 245 pounds, right? he can fall forward over Jeremy Zutall, the center. Look at him. He's just plowing behind that big offensive line, and Flacco's pretty strong himself, able to get the 1 yard easily.
114 consecutive start, 3rd longest active streak in the NFL. As durable a quarterback as there is in the NFL. First and 10 from just outside the 13. Taliaferro flanking Flacco. Lockett collapses, short pass, Taliaferro. Inside the 10, close to the 7. Tackled by Malcolm Smith. And now you have to wonder about this Oakland defense, Solomon, gassed They've been on the field a long time in this heat.
Oh, they're wilting in the sun. There's no doubt. Remember, this Baltimore Ravens drive started at their own 7-yard line. So Joe Flacco and this offense is red hot, just slicing right through this Raiders defense.
Second and 4, draw play. Taliaferro downhill, and he's into the end zone. And the Ravens on the verge of tying this game at 30. 7-yard touchdown run from Taliaferro.
And this is just too easy. And they just go right up the middle of the defense. We call running to the bubble, and that's what they did. They go backside of the middle linebacker, Curtis Lofton. He can't get in fast enough to plug the hole.
The Ravens cover 93 yards, 11 plays in 5.5 minutes. As Flacco marches him down the field. 33-yard point after from Tucker. Perfect. Back and forth they go in Oakland. The Raiders and Ravens here in Week 2. You're watching the NFL on CBS. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, and the Ravens taking on Oakland. Alongside Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan, I'm Spiro Ditas, all tied at 30. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast where it will be seen in its regularly scheduled time. It has been a shootout here in Oakland, tied at 30, 7:03 to play, and as if we needed any reminder what a crazy league the NFL is. Questions about Baltimore and their offense, Solomon, with Joe Flacco after their loss last week. Others throwing dirt on the Raiders, blown out here at home, and boy, have they responded today.
Yeah, here's where we are. Amari Cooper got it going in the first quarter with a 8-yard touchdown grab, and then Gilmore, he gets the Ravens on the board. He's had a hot day all day. Latavius Murray gives the Raiders balance on offense by getting into the end zone, and then Gilmore, his second touchdown of the day, and then Carr to Crabtree, and they catch the Ravens defense slipping, and then Taliaferro ties it up, 30 apiece. Here in the fourth quarter, that's where we stand now, and Derek Carr has the football.
Carr is thrown for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. That pass is complete. Michael Crabtree, who had the touchdown earlier, just outside the 25-yard line, a pickup of 6.
Neither team has been able to mount much of a pass rush on the quarterback, and that's why both quarterbacks have had huge games here today, and Carr has gotten into rhythm, and I just think his receivers, Cooper, Crabtree, Holmes, and Reese, have had big games. They have to continue to make plays and learn how to win as a young football team.
Rivera, the tight-ended motion. Draw play. This is Murray. Crosses the 25, close to the 29-yard line. Amari Cooper, if you've just joined us, the 4th overall pick, first 100-yard receiving game of his young career, 6 catches. 97 yards for Crabtree, and Steve Smith, $150 Solomon for the Ravens.
How about that? 15-year veteran putting up those kind of numbers. Got a rookie on the other side, and Amari Cooper. Both teams want it badly.
The 10 catches, by the way, for Steve Smith Sr., the most for him in a game since October the 14th of 07. Big 3rd and 1 play here. It is Murray, first down, Oakland. See where they spot the football as forward momentum takes him to around the 33, picks up 3, and a big Oakland first down. I'll never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app right now. O.co Coliseum, Week 2 showdown. And what AFC clash this has been. Spiro Ditas, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan. 1st and 10, Carr from the gun. From their own 33. Take the handoff to Murray. Far side. Intended for Crabtree. It's intercepted. Will Hill on the pick. Baltimore needed something from its defense, and their safety provides it. 25 yards on the return. monstrous play by Hill.
And Hill just sits on it. He's deep in center field. Here he is right here. And we're just watching. Watch him track this ball thrown from Carr. And this one is just sort of flutter. It just hangs. Okay, and then Crabtree falls down, but Hill does a good job of high-pointing the football. Crabtree could not, turns into an interception. And if you're Carr, you got to throw that ball close to the sideline, where either your guy can get it or no one. You hang it up there, and Hill's going to make a play on it. So just a throw that Derek Carr wishes he had back.
Only the 4th interception in the career of Will Hill, and his 2nd as a Raven. Resurrected his career after the off-the-field issues with the Giants. Gives Flacco and his offense a short field. 1st and 10, it's taken. Little cutback maneuver, close to the 25. First down catch, 11 yards for Aiken. His 5th catch as he approaches 90 yards receiving.
Both quarterbacks having a huge day. May come down to the one who has the costly error here in the 4th quarter. Joe Flacco uses wanting his defense to get him the ball back, and boy did that.
Taliaferro flanking Flacco, takes the give. Bull rush from Taliaferro, brought down finally from Autry. And now you get the sense again, Solomon, this Oakland defense sucking wind. As Baltimore trying to jam it right down their throats.
Yeah, they've given up nearly 500 yards total offense today to the Baltimore Ravens at 485 right now. Flacco, 385 yards through the air. His tight ends have been red hot. Right now, let's see if he can find Gilmore to convert his 2nd down play.
2nd and 6. Taliaferro trying to wear him down. Moves that pile close to the 17-yard line. 5 yards for Taliaferro. Tackled by Justin Tuck.
See, Derek Carr saying, man, I wish I had that back. Allowed one bad throw. That turns into a turnover, allowing Flacco more opportunities to add to his fantasy total. But right now, I think just the Raiders are getting a push up front with their offensive line in the run game.
Forsett and Hughes check line up in the backfield. Here's Forsett on the pitch. Can he find the edge? That 2nd burst, able to get the 1st down. What an effort by Justin Forsett.
Oh, this is a great play design. Watch 57. Ray Armstrong can't get out there to contain the ball. Forsett's got the speed to get around him and enough to hit the corner for a 1st down. And it's plays like that that will wear down a defense. You get them on the run, get them in chase mode, and right now they're sucking wind, and the Ravens are getting stronger as this game goes on.
And that clock is running down. Raiders with 2 timeouts, Baltimore with all 3. Justin Forsett, a journeyman before last season. It was a revelation for this team. Sets up a 1st and 10. Forsett able to make the first guy miss inside the 15. I was just going to ask you, Solomon, if you call a timeout, and Jack Del Rio will take it here, as they will have 1 left and a 2-minute warning with 2:25 remaining. And a Baltimore team that has come back from 10 down twice today, knocking on the door here.
Clock management is very critical in games. We've seen it play itself out week 1 in the National Football League. Veteran coaches with quarterbacks who have won multiple Super Bowls not quite managing the time in situations like this. You know, when teams talk about scoring too quickly, or maybe, you know, bleeding time off the clock and then scoring, how about just score? Because last time I checked, you score points, it helps you. And right now, tied up 30 apiece. More than anything, the Baltimore Ravens want to come away with points. More importantly, they want to come away with a touchdown.
Flacco under center. Play action. Flacco rolling out. Far side pass incomplete. Intended for Gilmore, and that stops the clock. We're 2:19 to play and a 3rd and 8 coming up.
This system, you see what happens. They run that flip play to Justin Forsett on one side, get them running one way, then roll out the other. Now, the key is you've got to complete those passes because an incompletion stops the clock. And you saw John Harbaugh over there wincing. You know, saying, what are we doing? Absolutely. You've got to call a play if you're Trestman that allows the clock to keep running. You throw that ball clear to the boundary. Even if he catches it, he's going to step step out of bounds and stop the clock. So I think they could have had a better play selection there.
Ravens will burn their first of 3 timeouts. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a rare look at Pope Francis. That'll be followed by a new Big Brother, Madam Secretary, and CSI Cyber. Only CBS. I don't think there was any doubt that John Harbaugh was upset with that play call from Mark Trestman. This look said it all.
It was a pass that fell incomplete, so that's going to stop the clock in favor of the Raiders. And even if he would have caught it, and stepped out of bounds, which would have also stopped the clock. So I'm sure Coach Harbaugh said, you got to give me a play that's better than that, one that would keep the clock moving.
Raiders down to their final timeout. We have, of course, the 2-minute warning. Oakland will head to Cleveland next Sunday. And Baltimore heading home to take on Cincinnati in a tough division battle. Going end zone, he's got Steve Smith wide open, incomplete.
Flacco too hard and too high. He had Steve Smith Sr. wide open, and watch him throw him right out of bounds. There's the catch. He's trying to stay in, 1 down. Does he get the second one down? No, he does not. Out of bounds. It was there to be had. He had beaten DJ Hayton for the play. You see he was open, and Harbaugh was like, are you kidding me?
Here's Justin Tucker. He's been good today from 22, 21, and 37. Most accurate kicker in NFL history, and he's perfect yet again. First lead for the Baltimore Ravens as a penalty marker is in late. 2:10 to play, 4th quarter. Raiders will have 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. Our referee, if you've just joined us, is Pete Morelli.
After the kick, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 89 of the defense. Field goal is good. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
That was Amari Cooper on the penalty. So they'll tack that on the kickoff to come. And now the tables are reversed. Derek Carr and Oakland will have to come from behind here as they try to find some late game magic.
Well, let's show you how he got open. This is DJ Hayton. It's just going to be a pick play. And then watch Brown here. He's going to pick him, and Smith is going to come wide open. This is one that you've got to be able to complete. Flacco's got time, but see how he just lofts the ball up and doesn't keep him in the field of play. Got to keep him in the field of play, give him a chance to stay in bounds as he makes the catch.
Oh, here was the penalty. Take a look at the middle of your screen.
Thank you for joining us on the Raider Reaction Black Friday, where every Friday is Black Friday on Raider Reaction, Silver and Black Theater. As we go back in our Silver and Black time machine and dust off a Raider classic.
The culprit for the Raiders
is about to get real here.
Solomon, what about for Oakland?
2 minutes.
Carr has been so good,
10 seconds left.
But now you need him to go and win a football game.
Yeah, he only has 1 timeout, so that means you're going to get some out-breaking routes to be able to catch it. Step out of bounds. Still plenty of time right here, okay, by virtue of where the Ravens are kicking off. You can bet this one's going to go out the back of the end zone and not lose any time here. So you got the 2-minute warning. You got 1 timeout in your back pocket, so you can be patient about what you want to do as a play caller.
Oakland was in front 30-20 at the 2:12 mark of the 3rd quarter. Since that point, they've been outscored 13-0 as Derek Carr waits for his turn on that Raiders sideline. Tucker booms it through the end zone. And here comes the Raiders' 2nd-year quarterback out of Fresno State.
Of course, Sebastian Janikowski's got that big leg. He's been known to bang it through from a long way away.
And Salmon, you have to think that his leg, even though he's not the same kicker he was earlier in his career, affects the play calling here for Oakland.
Oh, he's a weapon. Now this is where they're at their 20-yard line. Remember, I like the short rhythm passing from Carr, getting the ball into the hands of his receiver, especially Amari Cooper, who can create yards after the catch.
They start from the 20. First and 10, Carr. Quick throw, Mullen. Breaks a tackle, crosses the 30, first down Oakland. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. They pick up a dozen. Oakland down 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Spiro Diaz, Solomon Wilcott, Scott Kaplan. You see the Ravens, 13 unanswered points, their first lead of the day. And now all eyes on Derek Carr and this Oakland offense. First and 10, just outside their own 30. Carr swings it near side, incomplete. Intended receiver was Michael Crabtree. Oakland with 1 timeout left. It'll be second and 10.
Yeah, they're blitzing right now. Dean Pease is dialing up the exotic blitzes. No one had their hand in the dirt, showing that they were going to be a pass rusher. It was a number of different people who I think served as potential pass rushers. It confused the protection, forced the early throw from Carr.
Latavius Murray will flank Carr in the backfield. Again, Oakland, 1 timeout left. Up 55 to play. Carr, 1 game-winning drive in his 1+ seasons in the NFL. Second and 10. Ravens coming to the blitz. Carr hit on the throw. Completes. Over the middle to Rivera, just shy of the 40. 7 yards. It'll be third down coming up.
They showed like it was an overload left, but the pressure came from the right. And that's why they got the free runner to get the hit on Carr. Dean Pease doing everything they can to get pressure on the young quarterback.
Third and 3. Little screen pass. Murray. First down, Oakland. Will Hill, who had that last interception on the tackle, 7 yards and a first down.
Clock is ticking. They're in no huddle situation. They've got to pick up the tempo.
Minute 13 left. Rivera on another catch. That stops the clock. Penalty marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Number 97. Defense. 15 yards on that first down.
That's Timmy Jernigan. And what is an awfully huge penalty.
Coaches say there are more games that are lost than that are won. This is how you lose the game for your football team if you're Timmy Jernigan. Because you got to make the opponent earn everything they're going to get. You can't just give it to them. You just hand it the Raiders 15 yards and put them within field goal range and even close now to scoring a touchdown.
Well within the range of Sebastian Janikowski, who owns the second longest field goal in NFL history, that 63-yarder back in 2011. First and 10. Oakland again still has that 1 timeout in their back pocket. And another flag thrown.
Raiders can't help themselves.
False start. Number 77 offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Second time that Austin Howard has been penalized. 16 Oakland penalties totaling 106 yards in this game.
You know, in critical times like this, coaches say don't think plays, think players. You know, think about the matchup advantage you can get with an Amari Cooper or one of your talented tight ends or the fullback, Marcel Reese.
Latavius Murray split out the bottom of your screen. First and 15. This is Cooper, the rookie, inside the 35. Jukes ahead to the 32, maybe the 31. 8 yards, nifty catch and run from Amari Cooper.
I don't think you've earned a timeout here, but you certainly need to pick up the pace and get the ball snapped.
Carr quickly gets into the line of scrimmage. Second and 7. Surveys the defense. Fires near side. It's caught. Crabtree. And that is a completion and an Oakland first down. Darius Webb on a coverage, 14 yards on a catch.
Not many quarterbacks can make this throw. Not many receivers can make this catch so smoothly with strong hands and keep the feet in bounds as Crabtree there. Textbook work by the veteran receiver.
What a play as Crabtree walks a tightrope on that sideline. And now Baltimore will burn a timeout. Their second. What a finish High drama here in Oakland. We go to New York, JB and Coach Cowher.
The good foot of a red fox.
Yes, Jason Myers, the rookie from Marist College, kicks a 28-yard field goal with 40 seconds left. The Jacksonville defense holds on, and the Jacksonville Jaguars beat Miami 23-20.
Solomon probably knew that the nickname.
He has not signed with another team yet.
And Solomon, then Scott.
Thank you, JB.
What a finish. And we've had some real good finishes today around the NFL. Joe Flacco, all he could do is helplessly look on after marching his offense down the field with a go-ahead Justin Tucker field goal. And now Derek Carr, Solomon, what's he thinking here on 1st and 10?
He's thinking matchup. He's thinking, okay, I'm going to read the defense. If I get man-to-man coverage, then I'm going to want to get the ball to one of my talented tight ends. Look for either Rivera, Clive Walford, number 88, or Marcel Reese, who's kind of like a tight end. So one of those guys could be getting the ball here.
1st and 10 from the 17. Raiders have that one timeout left. Carr throws it near side, incomplete. Fans want a penalty, no flag.
And who did he throw it to? Walford. He was matched up against Webb. Big body on little body. Walford goes 6'4", 260. Webb 5'10", 180. And look at Webb, able to come around and knock that ball down. Great play by Webb. Of course, Coach Del Rio didn't think so, but I think he has to concede. It was an exceptional play.
Webb has been so good, he had to leave the game for a brief moment early. Had to fight through all his physical ailments last season. 2nd and 10, Carr from the gun. Here come the Ravens on the blitz. Carr throwing inside, it's picked. Will Hill. There is a marker thrown and the football comes loose. A pile at the 17, 18-yard line.
They're going to get Will Hill, though, for holding on the intended receiver.
Holding, number 33 defense, 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Now, you can only make contact with the intended receiver within 5 yards. And watch Hill here, and then we're going to see the intended receiver come here. But look, he's going to jam him well beyond 5 yards, right there, using his hands against Michael Rivera. And he gets the interception, but the official is watching that position all the way down the field. They're having a conversation, and Hill's got to know better. You cover with feet, not hands, beyond that 5-yard boundary. You have to get positioning and be able to read the eyes of the quarterback and break sooner on the play.
And now plenty of time for Derek Carr and this offense to take some shots into the end zone.
They still have a timeout in their back pocket.
Carr today, career high, 339 yards passing. A young man who avoided those critical mistakes as a rookie last season. Where does he go here on 1st and 10? Carr going to go over the middle. It is
Touchdown, Raiders.
Seth Roberts. First catch for Seth Roberts, and what a moment for the young man out of West Alabama.
Just a well-designed play that gets Seth Roberts right in the middle of the field. Look, they split the defense. Number 51, the linebacker, Darryl Smith, he goes too far to the right, and they don't seal it off on the backside, so they're able to split the defense. Perfect route to the perfect coverage to find an opening into the end zone.
Janikowski for the point after. Derek Carr marches Oakland 9 plays, 80 yards, and Seth Roberts introducing himself to the NFL with what is at the moment the game-winning touchdown catch.
This is great for the young quarterback, Derek Carr, and the people here in Oakland. We told you he's a player, but sooner or later you got to start winning ball games, right? In order to live up to the promise we talked about, Spiro, at the beginning of the game. And Carr and Cooper began to deliver on the promise with production and winning a ball game. 3 351 yards, 3 touchdown passes for the young Derek Carr against a really good Baltimore defense. Now with 26 seconds left. You ever heard of that one play they call the Hail Mary? I don't know if Mark Trestman has that in his book, but that's what you're looking at. Maybe one shot down to the middle of the field. They still have one timeout left, and then another shot down the field into the end zone.
Joe Flacco has been so good in terms of game-winning drives in his NFL career. 21 of them, 19 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs. Well, Chris may be asking an awful lot here with 26 seconds left and the Ravens needing a touchdown. One timeout left. Campanaro takes a knee in the end zone. And here we go. Here comes Flacco onto the field. 26 seconds left and one timeout remaining.
Yeah, we told you. I think you got to take a shot. And you can go down the middle of the field because you have that one timeout. Depends on the look you get from the defense. But if you can get one-on-one isolation, now that would not be Steve Smith, 15-year veteran, doesn't necessarily have that game-breaking speed. And boy, they missed their first-round pick out of Central Florida. Rashad Perriman was drafted for reasons like this. And look at the formation you get from the Raiders defense.
1st and 10, Flacco throws near side. It's intercepted. Picked off by Nico Thorpe. And the Raiders are going to win it.
And that's game, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Raider Reaction Black Friday, Silver and Black Theater. I hope you enjoyed this game. This was a great game, and I mean, at the time, this was the best damn game you had seen out of Derek Carr. He freaking lit it up, over 300 yards, game-winning drive, touchdown. This was a classic Raider game. So I hope you enjoyed it on a Black Friday. Like you all know, I'm on a little break right now, but I will be back in April, and I will be here next Black Friday to bring another awesome game for you. I found a new source for games, so I've got a little deeper bag of games to draw from now. This was one of those, and look forward to another one next week. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here next Black Friday. I'll put together a solid lineup when we return in April. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us. As always, we appreciate you, our band of pirates. Peace, love. Raider Nation.